Are we?
We're live. Maybe.
We're live.
Maybe not. Maybe.
Yeah, well, we're live. I don't see the thing coming up on the YouTube yet, though.
I'm giving you the finger
Slow
guns.
down with the finger guns.
I've been
He's
doing
not
it for a while
ready.
now.
He's not ready. Get off the new guy's back. My God,
Ooh, banned from Florida. That's what you are.
man.
For the finger guns?
Yeah,
You're not allowed to do that
absolutely.
there?
Nope, banned.
All right. Well, whatever. I don't see it. How come we're not coming up on the YouTube thing, so I can track the questions and the comments?
Stand by. I mean, I imagine we're live right now.
Well, we are live because it says
Mhm.
live right up in the corner there.
That's where you live? Yep. Yep.
Live, but not live.
If I go to videos,
That's what happens
And I
when
go
you make
to
me the
live.
host. Things just fall right off the rails. That was quick,
I
actually.
don't think they're actually falling off the rails. I think Trevor just has he wants control over it, but it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's throwing him off his game.
Yes, that's right. Look, the tides and the moon are just some of the things in my world I control. The YouTube should definitely be a no-brainer.
Well, stop eating the Tides pods.
But they're so yummy.
The YouTube should.
All right, I don't know what to tell you.
It's true, they are delicious. Well, I'm looking at the YouTubes. Hello, Buckshot.
Dave's looking at the YouTubes.
I don't know. I see the YouTubes.
Dave sees the YouTubes.
I see Trevor waving stuff around. So I'm assuming we're live.
Yes.
No. But if you go to YouTube on your phone, you don't get normally you get that notification that hey, Slamfire's going live, right? And then people watch us there and they ask questions, and then we cover it later on the show. I guess we're not doing that tonight. Okay,
It's live, and there's people asking. They're chatting right on it right now.
really? Then why am I not getting the standby?
I don't know.
Buckshot
But-
says you are on YouTube. Woo!
Yes.
Did you guys block
He's
me?
the expert.
There we
Probably.
go. There we go.
No, but we
I'm
probably
in there
should.
now. Yep, Buckshot Kid. Hello, everyone. Okay, I got it now. I had to go look for it. I didn't get the notice. But whatever. Okay, Dave, the show is all yours. Don't embarrass us.
I can keep that up for quite some time.
Bet you can.
Welcome to Slamfire Radio episode 312, everyone. Live apparently on YouTube, July 12th, 2019. Attending tonight is Adriel.
Yeah, that's me.
There you go. Trevor.
Yes, hello, I am here.
And I am Random Dave. I am apparently your host and saying things.
Yeah, it just really weirded me out the way you did it the opposite way from, okay, look, welcome to the show and stuff, but we don't do change, man. You introduce yourself first.
You don't do change.
No, change is bad. Change hurts.
Since the change was throwing you off, I decided to throw in more change to throw you off further.
Why? You find the simplest little things to drive me bananas. It's awesome.
I do. I
Yeah.
do. It's good.
Fit
Yeah.
right in.
So, yeah, there we go.
Hmm.
How'd I do?
Great, keep going.
Yeah.
No? I knew. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
See,
well,
you want reassurance after every segment.
absolutely.
Oh,
Halfway
gotcha.
through every
I
segment.
didn't realize you were a millennial. I'm sorry. I apologize. Dave, you're doing awesome, buddy.
Oh
Keep it
man,
up.
great job.
Thanks.
It
Oh,
wasn't
double
what we
thumbs up.
normally do, but that's okay.
I didn't even comment on how you pronounce the number 312.
Very accepting.
Yeah, I got respect for you, Dave. I let that stuff go with you.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay. I should read this things more.
So the next thing you do is
What
just
do I do next?
read this part that's selected.
Oh, what we did with guns this week, brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Center, Canada's premier the firearms retailer.
Doing great, Dave.
Apparently, they have a Mossberg Maverick 88 ODG, 12 gauge, yada yada, etc. Sounds very exciting. Pump shotgun for $289, quite reasonable.
And it's ODG, so it's super tactical.
Now
And
listen,
awesome.
listen, new guy. I didn't copy and paste that stuff in there for you not to read it. You got to sell this thing.
Well, all that
Uh,
stuff. It's a
Yep.
it's a Mossberg 88
Yeah, everybody knows what a Mossberg
for
88 is.
$289.
Tank.
It's in ODG. That's the different part. That's the
Okay,
cool part.
there's something else that's cool too. Typically, the Mossberg Maverick 88 is a straight up copy of a 500, which doesn't usually have that good of a magazine tube, nor can you add to it. But when this one, you don't have to add to it. It goes all the way out to the end of the barrel, and it which is only 20 inches, and it'll hold 8 in the tube, one in the pipe. So
Nice.
$289, you're getting a pump action shotgun that holds 9 rounds right out the box without doing anything. Thank you. Yes.
But no interchangeable chokes, just cylinder bore. This is a tactical shotgun.
Dude, you can get it threaded for $289 and $100 to get it threaded. Why not? Like,
That is super reasonable.
it is super reasonable. $289 for a 9-round capacity pump action shotgun. Yep.
No,
It says
that's
purpose tactical. That's what it says there.
I meant to take that last part out because that part is really cheesy. The purpose of the shotgun is tactical.
It is.
You-
It's tactical.
look
8
very
round cylinder
tactical.
bore. It's tactical. It's a tactical shotgun.
So it's 8 rounds of 3-inch. How many 2 and 3/4 would that hold?
Is it really? That's probably a typo. The cylinder's 3. It's probably, if it was 8 of, it would take 9.
Ooh.
8 3-inch would take 9. So you'd end up with 10 round. But I'm assuming, I would put money on it that this 8 rounds refers to 2 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because 8 rounds of 3-inch would be real long.
yeah, real long. 5 rounds of 3.5 is 7 2 3/4. So yep.
5 point something.
Very cool.
Anywho,
Well,
that's neat.
go to Calgary Shooting Center and buy yourself a fancy Mossberg Maverick. Very cool. All right, Trevor, what did you do in guns this week? A crap ton of Coeys.
Yeah, I bought a crap ton of Coeys. Yep. So here's this one is in the house. I picked it up as soon as I got home. So shout out to Joey over at DC Armory and Denis at DC Armory because they had this on the wall there. And I went in to see them the day after we did our Coey episode, and they were like throwing it at me. Hey, look, you want Coeys? Here's a 410 Coey. I'm like, slow down. I gotta go to Calgary. I got a thing. Anyway, I paid for it while I was in Calgary. Once I found the 20 gauge at the Cabela's, then I paid for that. And then I sent them the money for this and picked it up when I got home. So this one, Model 84 in 410. And in the mail right now is the 20 gauge that I bought at Cabela's and the 16 gauge that I bought the night before I left. I was making the arrangements before I flew out. So the guy didn't want to ship. Which is fine. He was in Calgary. I was in Calgary. I sent the EMT. He brought it over to Jeff, and Jeff put it in the mail for me. So I bought three Coeys so far since our Coey episode, and 3 while I was in Calgary. So I've had to rearrange the shotgun section of the gun room to make room for my my Coeys.
Your Coey section?
My Coey section, yep. My Coey shotgun section.
Mhm.
My Coey 22 section will go down there. So if I turn the camera over here a little bit, you can see, ta-da! That's the shotgun. Of course, that's Yolanda at the top there. And that's the shotgun section. And if you look over my shoulder, there's Yolanda again right there. I don't know. Apparently there's other girls in the calendar. I haven't actually checked. So, yeah. So that's that. Coeys. So I need 28, and it looks like Gallon has a line on a 28. I also bought some parts for my Alberta Tactical Rifle Supply Modern Sporter. I picked up a Rainier Arms receiver extension kit, and then I also picked up this from my good buddy Jeff at the Calgary Shooting Center. If you don't shop there, you're a communist. So this is a Leupold, a 1.5 to 4, super lightweight. Comes with a Leupold cantilever mount as well. But what's really cool about this one, I already have one like this. It's the Mark AR. I've got one. What?
I've got that scope on my AR. That's what I shot the maple seed with.
Oh no way! And does yours have the button?
Uh-huh.
Oh, cool. See, my other one doesn't have the button. This one has the button, and the button is for the illuminated reticle. When you push that button, the center of the duplex turns green. It also has a circle in the middle of the reticle. So this reticle is a lot more suited for 3-gun style competition than my other Mark AR. My other Mark AR is just a straight up duplex. So that one will go on the Modern Sporter, and this one will go on, I don't know, either the SLR or the STI 3-gun rifle.
Nice.
It'll go on one of my gaming rifles.
I'll be interested to see what you think of the illuminated reticle. Have you used one before?
I have. I've got 2 Strike Eagles. One is 1-6, and the other is 1-8, and they're both very busy and illuminated as well. They got like the red donut of death. You just put it over the steel or over the paper and let it fly like metal over meat, and the hits are there.
I almost never use my aluminum reticles.
Oh, really? I would always.
Yeah. Yeah, like a red dot's different because it's like a dot and it's more obvious. But I always find with the reticles, it's just good enough, just as is. Either it's too bright and it gets washed out and it's lame, or it's not bright enough and the black is fine.
So if you were of the school of thought that you need to focus on your front sight and therefore focus on your reticle, with a duplex plain not illuminated reticle, I often don't focus on it. I seem to look past it at my target. These illuminated reticles help me focus on the reticle like you're supposed to. So for me, they certainly complement my shooting style.
Focus on the reticle, keep your MPOA. Don't focus on the target. Move the rifle instead.
That's right. It's like you teach the stuff.
It's almost like it was drilled into my brain over the last week.
Exactly. So while I was at the charity shoot, I was talking to Rick, the owner of Alberta Tactical Rifle Supply, and we were talking about the production dates of the second and third runs of the Modern Sporter. And I was under the impression that my Modern Sporter would not be in until March 2020. Well, I don't know what led to that. Something to do with slick side versus forward assist, maybe. Anyway, Rick confirmed by looking at the date on my email that I was actually in the second production run and will have received my receiver set by the end of August, sometime into September.
Whoa! Merry Christmas!
Yeah, I know, right? So it gets even better. I guess I can talk about that. Anyway, I worked out a deal where mine is going to come with the following serial number. It will be ATRS 18 MS FUR LATTE.
Nice. I'm going to call them and see if I can change that to Trevor Socks.
That would just cause all kinds of problems that you don't want to have.
Well, I would buy
you know
it
what you
if
need
you
to
send
do
it
for
back.
you know what you need to do for the safety. One of them needs to be furlough achieving.
Oh, furlough achieving safety would be amazing. Oh, that's brilliant. I think I'll have to spend a lot more money with them before that happens. And then, so I flew home on Monday. I took Tuesday off and hung out with the wife. And then Wednesday, I went to work at the range with other Trevor, and we worked for like 7 hours, and I felt like we didn't even put a scratch in it. SummerSlam is coming up. The pre-match is like the 24th, 25th. So there's still 6 stages that need to be completely constructed. All the other ones were roughed out. So now we're doing the final touches. We're putting the targets in the proper locations. We're spiking them down. We're adding steel or taking steel away. Something that never was a swinger that we didn't use as a swinger all summer now has to be set up as a swinger. We got to get the activator set up and the cable and the popper and all that stuff. So we're putting the final touches on them to make them proper SummerSlam stages. And then Thursday, I went into the office and I did match administration stuff. I'm getting help to figure out a shooting schedule where you shoot a half day, work a half day, and then you switch. The next day, you work a half day, shoot a half day. So that involves finding the right amount of CROs to do both days, because 14 CROs will be shooting while the other 14 CROs are working, and then they rotate. And we need to build work teams, right? So CRO, 2 ROs, and then 3 patchers. So 5-man work crews for each bay should be more than enough.
Sounds like a lot of work to put on one of these.
It's, I mean, I make it sound like a lot of work, but I got to tell you, there's some people that could just do this stuff like it's super easy for them. This scheduling stuff is new and really intimidating, and I'm feeling overwhelmed. But I've got a couple of really good guys who know what's going on that are helping me through it. So, and this is all practice for the nationals, right? I have to do a schedule for the nationals. And again, those same people have done nationals. They've done squatting and scheduling for those big events. So not terribly concerned, but I still want to learn the process as much as I can now before the nationals actually rolls around. So, when I have dedicated working staff like this, the shooters can just concentrate on shooting, and the dedicated serials will bring consistency to the match, right? Every shooter will get the same walkthrough over and over and over and over and over. So there's nothing's left to interpretation, because I give them radios. I'm like, you have any questions, call me, and they don't, and then they do something goofy or whatever. So this will hopefully eliminate
turn the radio off because it gets annoying. That kind of stuff.
Or never turn it on.
Or
never turn it on, Larry. Hope you're listening.
I have found at events that dedicated staff is the key to everything.
Hell yeah. Yep.
If you can get them.
And then, then I got the awards all sorted out. So I had all my plaques, right? And then I'm learning more about PractiScore all the time. So PractiScore can give you all these wonderful spreadsheets and break everything down for you. So like, all right, I know how many classic people I have in total. I know how many seniors. I know how many super seniors. I know how many ladies. So, okay, I don't have enough seniors and super seniors on their own to award each of those a President's Medal. But if I combine the two, which I can do, okay, so I'll have a President's Medal for overall and a President's Medal for seniors. And so I'm able to really use that data in PractiScore to help determine which divisions and categories will have President's Medals. And then I can just simply also go through and say, okay, I need an overall, a second and a third for classic, standard, production, open. Oh, look at that. I've got like 10 people in open senior. So I need a first place senior, second place senior, third place senior, open. So I have all the plaques pre-made. So I just went through with a Post-it note, labeled them, and then boxed them all up, and I'll drop them off to my trophy lady. And hopefully they won't come back saying Podcart, but we'll see. And then today was a long day. I was at the range with one other guy, and we were there, I don't know, like 10 hours maybe. And I'm glad we put in a long day, because there's only 2 stages that we didn't get to today, and they're minor piddly stuff that's needed to make them completely SummerSlam ready.
But what are you putting your 10 hours into? Like 10 hours seems like a lot of time to put into setting up stages. Like what work are you putting in right now? Are you putting finishing touches? Are you guys like pretending to shoot the stages and then being like, I can cheat over here. We're gonna have to put a wall over here. That kind of thing.
You always do that. Yeah. You never like the last thing you do before you call it done and move on is do a walkthrough as if you're shooting it. And that's where you go, oh wow, I didn't realize if I came at it from this angle, I can see that target I'm not supposed to. Or if I stay in here, basically I've created a standing reload, which is lame. If I do this, the classic major guys are going to skin me alive and beat me out behind the berm. So I need to move something over here, you know? So we're going on to, first of all, the fault lines are basically laid out the same way they will be all year, or we start building the stages, and then we use those stages to have level 2 matches. But the fault lines and the walls are basically the same. But what we do is we change target location, round count, and props. So all summer, maybe this target over here, which is actually a swinger, was never set up. Well, now I have to set it up and hook up the cable, stuff like that. And then Adriel, everything is secured to the range floor. There's nothing left to chance, because IPSC shooters, there are cheaters among our ranks, and I've seen it with my own 2 eyes and face, moving things so that they can see it from a better vantage point and save a position, stuff like that.
Well, anytime you have weather, like if your props aren't secured down and weather or just use over the rounds starts taking stuff out and moving it, it makes it unfair. You have to get reshoots. It ruins the flow of the match, and you end up being too late.
Yep. So all the target stands are attached at 2 locations, front and back, so they can't be rotated. It won't blow over in the wind. All the poppers are secured. Obviously, all the swingers, the drop turners, all these things are nailed to the ground. So a lot of what we were doing over the last on Tuesday and Wednesday and today was spiking stuff to the ground, and then putting up the stage number. Like, this is stage number 3, this is stage number 4. We got proper signs that Filthy made for us that we attach those to. If there's like starting with heels on touching X's or toes touching X's, well, we get out the little X template and the spray paint, and we paint all those down. It's all that stuff, all the stuff that makes sure that nothing is left to chance, so to speak, and the match runs smoothly. So
And you get less stupid questions too, because I mean, if your stage says
Yes.
stage 3 in the name and it's in big block letters up in front of the stage,
yeah.
you don't get dumb questions and people getting lost and that kind of thing.
So one time, Adriel, and you want to talk about gamers and range lawyers. So we have an actual 40-foot long lobster boat on the range. Okay, this is like one of the coolest props in Canada. It's a real lobster boat.
Very
And
cool.
sitting out there in the middle of a bay. And the start position was there was a lobster trap on the gunnel of the lobster boat, and you're standing on the wharf. And the start position was hands on marks on lobster trap. So the intent is that you're standing on the dock, putting a lobster trap into the boat, and then the terrorists show up, and you have
So
to.
you're fending off your lobsters from pirates. There
Right.
are pirates after your lobsters, and
That's
you
right.
have to waste them.
So
God bless IPSC.
So the intent was that you were standing on the dock holding the lobster trap, or your hands were on the marks. I didn't say holding; I said hands on marks. The squad.
Sorry, I still can't get off the fact that you're defending a lobster boat from pirates.
Anyway, so guys actually got into the boat and put their hands behind their backs and touched the marks that way. They know goddamn well what they were doing, and they did it anyway. They had a weak CRO that didn't call the range master to ask if it was okay. Obviously, he thought, hey, shit, that's a great idea. So I want to do it too. So I'm not calling the range master because I know the range master will say no. So let's just do it. Right?
Once one person does it, you're good to go.
That's right. So now the start position for this year is hands on marks, or actually holding the lobster trap, and toes touching X's. So I put X's outside the boat. So now there's no gaming it. So if you got a PC
on the targets, you should put a pirate flag up on one of the targets over there, just so everyone knows what's going on.
You just wait for the nationals, man. I'm buying dinghies or skiffs to put out in the water, and when you hit a steel popper, it's going to activate 2 spring-loaded pirates that are going to pop up from inside the dinghy, and you're just going to waste them.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Trevor. I'm sure that those shooters are thinking to themselves, what would Trevor do?
Well, I've had other match directors in the province say, like, when I build stages, I'm thinking about you and Lorette, because if anybody's going to find a way to tear it apart and game it, it's going to be you or Lorette. So I take it as a compliment. And if you can game one of my stages, I'm not even mad. I'm like, damn.
I saw you did that at 3-gun match. Somebody else did something crazy, and you're like, they said, is this allowed? And you're like, well, I guess I'll be doing it that way too. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I came home and I started getting my kit ready for the morning, because I'm up at the crack of stupid to head to the Miramichi to shoot a match with Casper. So I'm really looking forward to that. With all the work I've got to do for SummerSlam, it seemed like a crazy thing to be headed to go shoot a match on a Saturday when I could be working on the range on Saturday. But we got so much done the last couple of days with Trevor's help and Stefan's help that I'm in real good shape. I can't do anything until Tuesday when we close the range for construction, where I then build the last 6 stages. And 4 of those stages are just like a box and some targets. So super easy. There's 3 stages that have walls that need to be put up, but nothing crazy. So yeah, I have all of next week, with the exception of Tuesday and a couple hours on Sunday, to build 6 stages. Like, piece of cake. Yeah, piece of cake. So
I was just thinking, Trevor, you mentioned those other people that have set these things up before that could do it in their sleep. I'm sure they go through exactly what you do. It's just you don't see it the next day because they were the ones up all night doing it.
Yeah. Like, as far as managing the range and the construction, no problem. And the way I was doing the match administration, squatting before, no problem. The thing is, like, normally, like, so SummerSlam is in July, August, and I start planning the following SummerSlam in September, right?
Yeah.
I'm months and months and months and months and months ahead of everything. Like, I have the match sold out by October, and people are like, why are you opening registration now? Well, why not? It sells out in like 3 days. Why wouldn't I? Why would I put it off when I could do it now and check it off the list and move on, right? And, a lot of people drop out because they're like, I don't even know if I have the time off yet, so I'm going to register now. And as long as I cancel before the 30-day cancellation period, I'll get my money back. So guys grab spots right away. And then I start to get a turnaround January, February. And then when registration is closed a month before, that's it. I don't care who leaves or who wants to come. I'm not doing any admin. I'm on the range working. I'm not coming home to do squatting till 10 o'clock at night because 5 people left or 3 people want in. It's just the way it is. If I had one person simply in charge of squatting and admin, then I wouldn't care. I'll do the construction, you do the squatting, and then you can run it right up to the day before. It's up to you. So when I put in it,
have you considered getting some more admin people on board? Because it sounds like you're doing a hell of a lot of work mostly by yourself.
I haven't really. I mean, I'd love to, but it's like who, right? Nobody really wants to learn.
Someone young who knows how to run a computer.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. So I ended up being that person for the other match director, Dave. But he didn't tell me fully what the job was. He said, I want you to do the squatting. Okay. And then he said, well, I want you to do this. And then I want you to do this. And then third time I went, no, hold on now. You asked me to do the squatting. Now you want me, he said, yeah, man, I was never going to tell you all the things I wanted you to do right up front, or you would have said no.
It's a trap.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was the king of traps, man. So anyway, so when he left town and I got the job, I was already trained on how to do squatting and scheduling, or that the way we did it then anyway, where it was self-ROing like we always do here in New Brunswick. So that part I had down. Then I had to learn to, well, at that point I didn't even know a screw gun. Right. So it's like, all right, I got a screw gun. Now I need a truck because hauling poppers around in the back of a Chev Sonic makes no sense. And I was doing it. Right. So I destroyed that poor little car when I became mass director, and then truck, and then real truck. So anyway, yeah, Dave, I'd love to find somebody to take over. I know for nationals, I need to let go of some of the control and get people to step up and do stuff. But it's like, hello, baptism by fire. I've been doing a lot of these things by myself. Now it's the nationals. Here you go. It's all yours.
Yeah, I had a real problem with letting stuff go on the range because the guy who taught me how to run our events is an ex-warrant officer, and he's very yelly.
Yeah.
And one day I was running around the range doing this and doing that, and he called me over to him and he said, "No, you stand here." I said, "But I got it." "No, you stand right here beside me. Who is going to do that job?" I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't know. It won't get done right." "Well, pick somebody." So I picked somebody, and they didn't do it quite exactly the way I wanted it, but it was good enough and everything worked out.
And they'll learn. Like, they won't do it exactly right, but they'll learn, and they'll, like, as long as you give the feedback on what exactly they missed out, they can fix it next time. And then you don't have to do it next time.
Yep.
One thing that I've let go was the reception night and the banquet. Like, I've tried to get people to take over the sponsorship. I've tried to get people to take over the prize table. Nothing, man. Even like my crew, my main core of people, I send out an email. I said, "Will some of you, will one of you, please, with sugar on top, handle the sponsorship for the match?" Like, that's your only reason for being. You don't have to do anything else. Just send out the emails, collect the product, collect the money, put the product on the prize table. Just do that. Just that one little EB thing for me, please. That's all I want you to do. You never have to come to the range. Just do nothing. Not even a reply.
Find a salesperson.
Oh, man.
Because it's a sales. You don't actually have to sell. You just need to email people and say, like, "Hey, we want sponsorship. Here's the thing."
I got the letter written. I got an email. I've got a.
You need someone who wants to contact people.
Yeah,
I had to do that, and will do that because it's not a large job, but you need to do the initial burst of reaching out to people and be okay with rejection.
Even on the spreadsheet, dude, it says first contact, second contact, and then finally yes, no, what they donated, right? Mm-hmm. And then you can go back and use that spreadsheet to send thank you letters if you want. I finally had to do it myself, Adriel. I went through that spreadsheet, and this was so. I tried to hire the guy who did the sponsorship for the Nationals in 2016 or 17 in Halifax. Like, he had a $42,000 prize table. Phenomenal, right?
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, so I tried to pay him to do it for us, and everybody in our club was like, "Yes, pay him, just do it." but unfortunately he got too busy. Life happened. He did sign up for the task, then life happened and he wasn't able to do it. But he did give me that contact information for all those businesses that he accumulated for the nationals that he was a part of.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it this year. I emailed them all, but I got like 90% rejection. And I think one of the reasons I got the most was like you basically waited too long to ask us. So I think December, January this year, maybe even, yeah. So I'll definitely start. Well, what am I talking
The
about?
ideal time is December, January.
Yeah.
For reaching out to people.
Because year end
in
year end in March. Anyway, it's not going to be a problem this year because I'm going to be concentrating on CCFR RSO and other things because I won't be planning SummerSlam. I will be planning nationals the following winter. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, it's a lot of work, but sometimes I feel like I make it sound like more work than it is. But it is what it is, whatever. It's going to be an awesome match. Holy, it's our biggest match, 19 stages. I've used every swinger that we own and had to borrow 2 swingers. I've used almost all of our steel. Lots of drop turners. Like I bought new props. I bought these bobbers. So there's one stage where you shoot a popper and it activates a double drop turner with 2 targets on it. So you take the first target on the first exposure, the second target on the next exposure, and that popper also activated a bobber. So that bobber is now popping up from behind cover and disappearing again. And then I got one stage with 3 swingers, and one popper activates 2 of them, and they're in sync. They just whoop. They both come down and stop at the same time. The longer they run, eventually they start to go to sync. But the first 4 swings, they're in sync. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
That's awesome.
You got to pick.
Yep. And then I got another stage with 2 poppers, a swinger, another drop turner. I've got one stage with 4 plates. I got another stage with 2 poppers and 4 plates. And I got this. It's like a swinger, but it doesn't swing. It just appears and stops, and it stops dead behind a no-shoot target. So if you try and follow it, you're going to drill the no-shoot. So I'm a bastard like that. You're welcome. I got another one that's got 5 poppers and 2 drop turners. One's a double drop turner, and they're like kind of inside these walls. You got to shoot them through ports. Yeah, a lot of cool movers.
So this is like a level 11 match.
Yeah, well, it's 19 stages. Now, to put that in the context for you, Dave, when my club held the Nationals in 2013, we only had 16 stages.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's
then
amazing.
I started doing, what's the minimum?
No, I said that's amazing.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. The minimum for a level 3 is 12, and we routinely have 12 for level 2 here in New Brunswick. So we don't get out of bed for less than 150 rounds.
Hey, Trevor, for the people who don't shoot a lot of IPSC, what motion does a drop target use, and what is it? Is that your phone?
Yeah, it's my phone. It's Denis calling me. Let me just try and do something with that here.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, drop what?
What's the motion of a drop target? What's a motion of a turning target? You mentioned drop.
Okay,
drop
yes,
turner.
You're right. Drop turner does one thing, and a swinger does something else, and a bobber does something else.
Okay, thanks.
So a drop turner is situated. It's a stand, and the target is not facing you. It's kind of perpendicular to you. You can't. You're basically edge on. So you hit an activator, and all of a sudden it rotates and faces you. And sometimes it rotates back where it came from, and then that's it. It's gone. It's disappeared. It drops and turns. That's why I call them a drop turner. And they are a disappearing target, which means you cannot see a portion of the A before activation, and you cannot see a portion of the A at rest, therefore disappearing. So I have another drop turner that, the shoot side is facing to the left, and when you activate it, rotates completely in a circle 180 degrees well, not completely 360, but it rotates 180. So it's facing one way, and when it comes to rest, it's facing the other way. And they're stupid fast and hard to hit. So I try and keep those ones a little close. A swinger is on a pendulum. It's got a weight on one end, and it's on a bearing, and it usually starts hidden behind a wall or a barrel. And there's a stick underneath the weight that holds the weight up in the air. And when you hit the activator, the stick falls, the weight falls, and the target swings and actually does like an arc.
Like a rainbow arc in front
like
of
a rainbow, yeah,
from behind the barrel or whatever you got stuffed in front of
Yep.
it when it was at rest, and then it kind of pops out in that arc.
Yep. And so then you can put all kinds of cover in front of them to decide how much exposure do you want the shooter to have access to as it arcs back and forth. So yeah, its range of motion could be described as an arc, and the drop turner literally starts up and it drops and turns. It exposes itself to you and then turns away, so you can't shoot anymore.
So it's like a homeless guy in a park, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that might be the bobber too. So the bobber also has a weight on it. It's also on a bearing like a hinge. And so the bobber starts basically facing the ground. You hit the steel and or the activator, whatever, and the stick falls and the weight falls towards the earth, and the target swing bobs up and comes back down. And so if the listeners are actually looking and they're viewers, it does this. So look at the screen. It comes up and down, up,
Slides
and
up and down.
Yeah, slides up and bobs up and down. And then the swinger does this. Whoop.
Wax on, wax off.
Right. And the drop turner does this. Hello, goodbye.
That's cool. I've never seen one of those.
Got swivels.
Yeah, we have single exposure drop turners and double exposure drop turners. So on the house stage, I've got a double exposure. So it shows itself twice, and good thing because there's 2 targets on it. Now, for those who are curious about rules, drop turners that disappear, and a disappearing target is defined as a target that does not present a portion of the A before or after it's done moving, will not incur misses. They are non-penalty misses. So if you shoot at them and miss, you're good to go. You don't take misses on them.
Bill Mike.
So sometime the gamers will determine whether or not it's advantageous to skip it altogether. As long as you activate it, you're good. You don't even have to engage it. You got to make it move. Yeah. So sometimes in a short course of fire, you'll take the time, because time typically is a bigger variable in your hit factor in a short course of fire than it is in a long course of fire. So in a long course of fire, you'll go after it. So,
or otherwise you may just go piss on it and just keep going, activate it and just keep going.
Yep. So that's it for me, guys.
That is very cool. All right, Adriel, what have you been up to in guns?
Well, let's see here. Did that Drumheller Maple Seed? Are we talking about Drumheller in the main topic?
Well, whatever. You do you.
I'll do me. All
But
right.
we are going to talk about it in the main topic for sure.
Correct. But the Maple Seed was or wasn't part of the
Right.
Drumheller match?
Yeah,
You're in that Maple Seed too.
Yeah, I included Stop the Bleed. But didn't we talk about that on last week's show, the Maple Seed?
Couldn't have, because we did the show on Thursday and the Maple Seed was on Friday.
Oh, well, then I want to talk about my Maple Seed too. Well, I'm not done.
Okay, well, we'll just rewind. You can do you first.
So, yeah.
Didn't you win some sort of a badge of some sort?
I may have gotten Rifleman again. That's true. So here was the plan. I was going to attend the Maple Seed, and I was going to use Adriel's Remington or Marlin 795. So I was really looking forward to that. And Matthew loves that gun. I've always been kind of bi-curious about having one. You know, the manual of arms is kind of sucky, but their accuracy is legendary. But Adriel gave me a Remlin like it was a piece of crap. Didn't want to work. So we had a real hard stoppage where the spent casing was stuck on top of the live round that was trying to chamber, and it was all locked up hard. I actually used the leg of the chamber flag to get inside the spent casing to pull it all out. Got through that, and then click, nothing. Tap rack, click, nothing. Tap rack, click, nothing. And those rounds didn't have a mark on them, so I don't know. Have you since looked at this? No, you haven't had.
Sure. I used it at the next day at the thing, and I ran 100 rounds through it with not a single failure.
That's crazy.
And I did nothing. I put no oil and I put no brush.
You just picked it up and shot it.
I just shot it, and it ran 100%. No failures.
Stacy was standing right over me.
I was watching you too.
Yeah. Okay. So you saw.
I saw it jam on you.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Limp wristing it, maybe.
Yes, I was limp wristing the 795. So then, all right, Adriel brings me the Norinco. I'm like, oh damn! Now I got no choice. We'll see how this goes. But
you chickened out.
I did. I totally wussed out. Who was the badass ninja guy there that looks like he could pull your spine out? Chris? Chris? He was from the Active Killer Defense guy there.
The ninja.
Anyway, the ninja's like, Trevor, would you prefer semi-auto? I'm like, oh god, yeah. What do you got? It's like, I got 1022. Great. So he brings me a factory 1022 stock barrel, super stock trigger, and it's got a Fab Defense pistol grip stock with an adjustable comb on it. And it was definitely set up for him. It wasn't set up for me. It was rather uncomfortable to get a cheek weld and a turkey neck, and it was uncomfortable. But anyway, whatever. I made it work, and I shot a 235, 227, 235 in the mud, in the rain, with a loaner gun. I did things better that I wanted to do. From the last one I took in Woodstock, but I still got punchy, and I still didn't use the time correctly and started to rush shots and punch them, and that's where I lost some points. So, I lack discipline.
So you are, however, annoyingly consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
very consistent, and those scores are really good. Like 230s, high 220s. It's all really good.
Yeah, I'd like to I'd like my average to be 240. That'd be fantastic. If I had my own rifle there, I definitely think I would have done better. But it is what it is. So
I wonder how many of them we'd have to shoot before we got to a perfect score. How many do you think you would have to shoot?
I need to shoot like at least 20 more on a regular basis with practice in between.
I think if I had practice and I could do 10 or 15, I might be able to do a 250 in there.
Yeah.
I'd like to sit for an afternoon and just shoot the qualifiers. Like just sit and shoot them like all day.
Mm-hmm. Just the grind.
Yep.
Just need a recording. Shooters, your preparation period begins now. Just like a recording that just does it automatically. That assumes you reload very fast.
Yep.
Anyways, anything else for you, Trevor?
Yeah, Captain Andy wants to register Slamfire Radio, and then sue us for copyright infringement. So, Captain Andy.
Bring it, Captain Andy.
Wouldn't be able to, Andy. Sorry, we already have pre-existing broadcasts and a website.
Have lawyers on retainer ready to go after you.
I'm sure the captain does too.
I don't have any lawyers on retainer.
Internet lawyers from CGN and IPSC matches.
I think the thing to do when people are threatening you to sue you is to just threaten to sue them back with no intent to follow through. Isn't that the right thing to do?
No. When somebody says, give us all your leftover merchandise and your money, or we'll sue, you sue them.
No, I was going to make the NFA joke.
Ha ha. So
cool.
Yeah,
I was at the same Maple Seed that Trevor was at.
Yeah, you were. How'd you shoot?
I wasn't shooting. It's training.
You looked good not shooting.
I look good not shooting? Oh, thank you, Dave. That's very I appreciate the comment there. Yeah, it was the cool thing about the Drumheller range, they were super accommodating to us. They let us take down this tarp that they were using to cover their firing point and get it super muddy and lay on it because the ground was muddy there. The range itself there is super picturesque. It had been raining for a long time, and like the layers between the the dinosaur layers that are on the hills there.
The coal, and then it goes coal, dinosaur, dirt.
Yeah, coal, dinosaur, dirt. They had all washed really clean, so they were really sharp, and the layers there were really, really beautiful. and like I was looking at one of the pictures from the range there, and we don't even look like we're at a range. We look like we're hiking somewhere picturesque. Anyways, with ear and eye protection on. That maple seed was the second one I've helped train at, and it was really good. There was definitely some learning moments in there. Definitely some extra sleep would have helped, but it was a good learning moment. Did the Jerry match, which we can talk about afterwards, and then after that, I drove back to Edmonton and immediately started doing maple seeds like every day, and. Kelly and Stacy came out. I went and did one with Rick. We threw a lady seed in there, which was ladies only kind of a maple seed, which was almost full. We had 13 or 12, 13 shooters there maybe. It was really interesting. The lady seed was really interesting because they were there for like, it was very business-like. They were like there to shoot their qualifying test, and their targets looked really great. There was a lot of really good shooters in there.
So I'm gonna be that guy.
Mhm.
When are we gonna have a man's seed? I think I want to participate in a man seed.
They're practically all man seeds.
Every day is man seed day, Trevor. You should.
Next, I'm not supposed to be proud to be straight, I suppose, or white. Come on.
Straight.
I wouldn't be proud if I were you.
What?
I'm not very proud of anything I am, straight or white, but that's not the point. I'm trying to trigger some people.
No, it was, I could see it was a really interesting dynamic for that one, because we had Kelly and Stacy as the bosses, and then we had their minions, all these male IETs, and the shooters were all female.
It's like a bad Star Wars movie, right? Where all the men are dumb and the women are running stuff. I see what this is.
That's what it was. It was interesting. Anyways, yeah, it was cool. a really interesting dynamic. I really like the idea, because one of the things that I think we need to do is get more lady shooters into the sport, and this one has a lot of lady shooters. Like just even a general maple seed. The last one we had, I think we had 3 female shooters on the line, which I don't know what your percentage is in IPSC. Like I look at it around Alberta here, and I think it's around 10% maybe. In 3-gun, it's 5, maybe 2 or 5%. It's super low right now. IPSC's a little bit higher. Maple seed is much higher. And if you can do some lady seeds and get some more lady shooters like introed into it, fantastic. Because in my opinion, we need to get more of them in.
No, I'm totally joking. No one cares what an all white man has to say as far as the government's concerned.
Oh, I just assumed you were misogynistic.
Well, I am, but all kidding aside, the more women we have as gun owners and our pal holders, the stronger our voice will be. Mm-hmm. Like hell hath no fury, right? Start telling these chicks that now that they're in the guns that the government's going to take their stuff away. Like, I don't think so, mister. No, Mr. Government, no.
Well, it's just it's a little bit frustrating when so many matches or club meetings like that you go to, regardless of the club, it's just like it's all old white dudes, right? Yep. It's like, and it's like we still make up a significant portion of the population, so you'd assume that this is going to be the way it is anyways, but it's nice having a good diversity of other shooters as well, to show that this isn't just like solely for one type of person, and there's a wide variety of people that enjoy this activity.
For old white women too. If it wasn't, I mean, if it wasn't
people.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, I'm trying to make an old Kelly joke, but you won't let me.
I would say, because he doesn't want to die. I would say that. Well done, well played, Andrew. High five. I would say that. The more people we can have of different backgrounds and men, women, whatever. I mean, to me, I've found in general the shooting sports, people that shoot competitively don't care what your race is, what your gender is, where you come from, your religion. None of us care. Do you like guns? Let's shoot.
I care about your hit factor, not the color of your skin or what junk is in your pants.
Exactly.
Are you beating me? Now I have a problem with you.
Yeah. And in true Maple Seed fashion, it rained like every shoot I went to, it rained at least a little bit during the day. This last one here at Chaz was it rained in the morning, but then it stopped and it was a little bit cloudy, and then it was sunny at the end of the day, which is kind of nice. Yeah, instructed with a bunch of really great people, a bunch of really good instructors in training all over the place. Some from, like, we had IITs from BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and New Brunswick coming to these events. So that was really interesting, really cool. Good bunch of people, and a lot of them. Like, I don't know if you remember, but rewind 2 years ago or so, and most of these Maple Seeds were done by 1 or 2 or 3 people.
Right.
And now they have a bunch of these instructors in training that are there to help get down, assist people, makes the whole thing run really smooth, and it helps with people who need extra help. You can basically like put a person on that person to help them out. And
we had an unusual number of riflemen on the Drumheller event, and during the debrief, one of the comments from everybody was, that's probably because you had I don't even know what, 6 instructors. Like, there's 1 instructor per 2 people almost.
Yeah, well, I think we had 7 IITs at that one, and we had similar numbers of IITs at a lot of our other shoots here, which is good. What that means is that some of these guys are going to be able to step up and run more of these without having to. Not that I don't like, Kelly and Stacy and Rick and Mary and all those guys coming out, but they won't have to come out all the time now. Now we will be able to run these things locally and run more of them, because the thing is, in Edmonton, Chaz, those ones sold out in a matter of hours. And I went to one in Sherwood Park, and that one sold out in hours as well. These things are just in super high demand, and we just need to put more of them on, because they make such a big difference with with marksmanship with people. That was the other interesting thing. There's a couple of interesting things I saw from doing so many of these, like rapid fire. One, I learned the material basically because it got drilled into my brain. The other one was seeing the commonalities between the matches and between what people need to hear to make them succeed. And that you'll know this, Trevor, that handout that's got like the targets on the back of it and shows like the impacts and what you need to do to fix it.
Yeah, the cheat sheet, which I promptly did laundry and had it in my pocket.
See, if we look at the pistol one, the pistol one's not very good. The pistol version of that is like, oh, you might be healing over. No, it's you sucking. Press the trigger correctly, and your hits will be on target. That's what you need to do with pistol. Like 95% of the time, you're flinching, right? But with rifles, with Maple Seed, it's not. And those little ways that those bullets move, whether it's horizontal or vertical or diagonal, you go back to the reason why, and it's got it on there. It's probably true. And you go back and you say, oh, you got some diagonal stringing here. Let's get that elbow like right underneath the rifle. And you go try it. And it's like, oh, it's gone. So like those talking targets and those rules that they have on the back there work so well with practically everyone. It was that was really interesting, because when I had seen the pistol one and tried that, it's like, this is BS. It's all trigger control, right? But with the rifle, it was a lot more prescriptive and accurate in helping diagnose the issues.
I concur.
Yeah. I got my instructor patch.
Yes, so you did. Congratulations.
Congrats. Well done.
Yeah. So Greg May got the first one. Well deservedly. He basically went through the gauntlet of being the guinea pig for this thing. And so I was number 2 up on there. And I've got really fantastic support from my club on doing this, which is really good, because now we can start getting some more of these done out in Alberta.
So how many people do you need to put one on? Would you be shoot boss, and then you got a bunch of can you start training people? What's going on?
Nope, not yet. I've got the trainer certificate. I need to get line boss before I can start throwing these on. But I think it's a lot easier to get that one versus instructor.
Are you the only instructor in Alberta right now?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
But I have a bunch of really great IITs that are all around here. There was some guys from BC just over the border. There were some guys, including like Ryan from down in Saskatchewan. We've got a couple here in Edmonton, Ted and Joe, and a lot of guys that are within proximity, where I could say, hey, let's schedule something and pull together a crew to help work it.
Okay, cool. So you can do that. You don't need to have Kelly or
I still do. Once I
Rick.
get the shoot boss, then I'm good.
Okay, so what's next, and how do you become a shoot boss?
I will find that out.
All right. Because I mean, it's like, all right, you're an instructor, but you can't put one on.
That's correct. But this is the most difficult step. So the next step is very soon. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Gotcha. Rick was talking about coming out here for instructor boot camp kind of a thing. So maybe then.
Yeah, I can't see that being a big step up from where you are right now.
I mean, we're still super grassroots, right? I mean,
yeah, and but I can respect that. There has to be a trade-off between speed of scaling this out and quality. You need to make sure that the consistency is there, because the one thing that I really enjoy about the program is that the consistency between the different instructors is so good. It's such a consistent quality program that they do in a day that I really respect that, and want to make sure that I continue that on.
Nice. Yeah. Well, and the good thing is about having more instructors as well is you can expand the program, plus maybe not burn out Kelly and Stacy and Mario and blah blah blah.
Yeah. I mean, they're taking months off to drive across the country and spend drive 50 hours across the country, put on maple seeds every day. Like even just the 1 week, like today, I'm like not at 100%. Pretty worn down from 12-hour days, baking in the sun. Did I drink enough water? You get familiar with that, like, oh no, I need to hydrate more here. I feel the headache coming on. So time to start drinking water. Drink more.
Well, here's your new rule of thumb. If you're not peeing, you're not drinking enough. Don't wait for the headache.
I know.
Make sure you're always peeing.
I know. It's just like I've done enough like really long days with 3 gun. It's just
and they're still going.
When you do 5 in a row, 5 days in a row like that, that's where you get real familiar with the whole grind and the what you need and what you don't need. And my kit bag now is like super optimized. There's stuff I take with 3 gun where it's like, maybe I'll need it or maybe I won't. And the stuff I have now, it's like, I need this stuff.
Yep. And they're still going. They're on the road right now as we speak. That's why Kelly's not here. It's not because she actually hates the listeners. They're still maple seeding. They got Gallon with them, and shout out to Gallon. Gallon got to go on an epic Manitoba gopher slaughter. They killed over 100.
Wow. Each or just all together?
All together. I think it was only him and another guy, maybe 3 of them, maybe at most. Roaming around a field in a side-by-side, and they find a town and they stop to get out and whack, and then get back in the side-by-side and go to the next town.
Side-by-sides are so nice to drive around in for that kind of thing. Just to hop out. Yeah.
Yes. Perfect for that. And they're only the cost of a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to get a vintage Sidekick or Samurai from the 80s that's got a soft top. That'd be my side-by-side.
Yeah, those are cool. They float too. Yeah. You put them in a river, you just need to get out and push them across.
Really? I didn't know that about those.
I have done that.
That's cool.
So now that I've finished instructing people, I'm going to I can't decide. I was sure I was going to take a 22. I'm going to go shoot some gophers in the face tomorrow.
Yes.
I was going to decide whether I take the 22 or I also have a 17 WSM.
Oh, you got to do the WSM. We need carnage. We need body parts coming off. That being said, I was out with Jeff Reese. I went gopher shooting again. You and I went with Jeff gopher shooting. I think we talked about that on the last week's episode.
It was a bit rainy, so they weren't really out. Hard to see. Yeah.
So Gavin, shout out to Gavin and Angela for driving me from Drumheller to Jeff's on Sunday. And as soon as I got there, I'm like, so Jeff, gophers? And he's like, sure, let's go. And we did much better. We may have gotten like 10, 12 each that time. His 17 had gotten dirty and couldn't hit anything. So he gave me his CZ 525, 555. I don't know, the Canadian little CZ 22. Super nice. Anyway, hello, stingers. Stingers will blow chunks off. I took off a whole front shoulder and leg on a gopher with stingers, and I got a really awesome 75-yard offhand shot. Yeah, stingers are really good and a lot cheaper than 17.
I might just take my Nork bolt. And a USGI sling and just a lot of standing stuff.
Maple seed them.
Well, because when you're shooting gophers, yes, you can go prone with a bipod and you can make shots long range. Yeah. But if the grass is a little bit high, you don't see them. You only see the close stuff, and the close stuff you see when you're standing, because when you're prone, there's too much grass, right?
That's right. Yep.
So for those standing shots, a hasty sling with nice hold, you can do it. You can do it. Yeah.
I never realized how small they are, because the only thing I've ever hunted here in small game is groundhogs. And I mean, our groundhogs are like the size of a raccoon.
Yeah, they're cats. They're 20 pounds.
Big sons of bitches.
Yeah. And you hit one with a car, you know it.
Yeah, we used to use 22. I used to use 22 250 on them because you'd shoot them with a 22. And I used to have a 22 Magnum, and some of them I'd put like 3 or 4 rounds into them, and the thing's still going. Yeah. You can't stop them. And I didn't realize until I was on my way home, and I was at a rest stop, and I heard this cheeping noise, and I went and sat in the middle of a little gopher town out back at the rest stop. I figured where? In Manitoba.
Oh, okay.
At the side of the road, there's like tons of them in this field.
Oh yeah.
And I had my 22, but I figured the people at the rest stop might get a little upset. So
at the rest stop.
I just sat and watched them.
You could have got the cops called on you and get guns for that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. That happened. So just for reference, that happened this week. Some guy was out. He had some gophers, and his friends asked if they could come over. His friends came over, shot some gophers. The cops were called. The cops went over to the neighbor's house, and the guy's like, you guys should probably shut her down and leave. And they shut her down and left, and he went into his house, and then the cops came in with guns ready. Or they called him. They called him first, and they said, get out here with your hands up, kind of thing.
Yeah, they pointed guns at children.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, because his friends were shooting gophers on this farm. Anyway, I'm going to go shoot gophers and hopefully not get guns pointed at me tomorrow. And I think I'm going to do it with my Nork bolt, and I think I'm going to put a USGI sling on there, and
Something similar to the cops getting called happened here near my place a couple of years ago, where a guy was shooting them out near a school. Kids showed up to play soccer, so he went home, and the cops were waiting for him at home, and there were body cavity searches and charges and lawsuits, and it was very, very nasty. So I'm glad it went a little better for that guy. You got to be careful.
Yep. Hopefully that doesn't happen to me. Maybe I'll just take the 22. I'll just take the 22. Maybe a bipod. I got a detachable bipod I can just slap on there. So I'll bring a detachable bipod and some extra. I got extra mags. For my Nork now. I don't have to just round the 5-rounders. I got 10-rounders.
Nice.
Baller.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe bring a camera with you just in case things go south. You can live stream your takedown. Be awesome.
Yeah. Would you guys like to watch that? That would be popular content, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get some hits off that.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that's it for me. I think so.
Very good.
Yeah. I just ordered a ton of stuff to set up my own maple seed kit here, so that we've got all the stuff we need to run these things.
Oh, nice. Speaking of kits and running things, Denis and Joey, the employee, and Denis, the owner of DC Armory, came to the gun club meeting on Wednesday, and guess what they're starting? ORPRS.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Denis
at your club?
Yeah. Denis going to buy the kit, and we're going to do what everybody else is doing. All the registration will happen through them. They set everything up, and Denis will show up with the steel and build whatever the stages are for that month, and we're going to do it on Wednesday nights once a month. I'm stoked. I can't wait.
That's a cool idea. Yeah.
You going to come out and shoot it?
Am I?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Absolutely. So you're not running it. You get to just come shoot.
I know.
Sweet.
And what is it to crack a 22 out and 100 rounds and drive down to the range and just do a match?
I know. Yeah. I don't understand. I don't understand what this is going to be like, but I'm looking forward to experiencing it. I'm going to show up, already have paid and registered, take my cased firearm to the line, do what I'm told, shoot all the targets, put it back in the case, and go home.
So as a match director, you'll also have to grit your teeth just a little bit because it's not your show and it's not your monkeys and not your Zeus. You have to go, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to be here and do my thing and not say anything about the way they're running it.
The only thing I'm going to do is be a range officer for it. So
yeah.
So
are you qualified? Are you qualified as a range officer for an ORPS match?
I'm not sure. I mean, we'll check and see if my CCFR RSO credentials, Master Learning Facilitator status counts or not.
No point gun at face.
There you go. That's all I ask.
Cool. Anyways, that's it for me.
Dave.
Nice. Dave, what have you done in shooting this week? Well, I built my Colt Canada lower finally, which I brought to the Maple Seed and fired.
How'd that work out?
And then it didn't work. So I'm not actually, I have to take the trigger apart because I was getting extremely light strikes, like super, super light, about every 2 or 3. So I'm not quite sure what the hell's going on. The hammer spring, everything there looks good. Legs are in the right spot, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Interesting, because I thought for sure that would have been it, right? Typically, like, what else could it be?
The only thing I can think of is that I have a slightly different hammer in this. I don't really know what the difference is. I think my other hammer in the other one is a full auto hammer, and this one's not. But that shouldn't make any difference with the stuff I have, unless my bolt. I think my bolt is actually a full auto bolt carrier, so it may make a difference. Maybe. I don't know.
What about the firing pin? There's a difference between a semi-auto firing pin and a full auto firing pin. So if you got a full auto hammer in a, you got full auto hammer or semi-auto hammer?
That's a good question. I don't actually know. I'm assuming this one is probably a semi-auto hammer. It's just a flat front on it, rounded top.
Right. Okay, so you could have a semi-auto hammer in a with a full auto bolt carrier group, and then you could have a semi-auto pin or a full auto pin. So maybe the firing pin and the hammer are not interchangeable. So what I mean by that is you can't use a semi-auto pin with a full auto hammer or vice versa. So maybe that's the problem. Maybe the hammer is semi-auto and the firing pin, because it's inside a full auto bolt carrier group, is a full auto pin, and the two don't like each other.
It could be. I have to pull it all apart and inspect everything and figure out which parts I have because I don't really know.
Yeah. So if everything's assembled correctly, then it's a parts compatibility problem, most likely.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards. So yeah, I just have to pull everything apart, look at it, look it up online, see what should be working together, and then make it all the way it should work. It's a DPMS lower parts kit I put in this thing, and it's actually a ridiculously light trigger pull, so I'm hoping that I can get it all working because I want to roll with that thing. It's much nicer than my Rock River Arms lower parts kit I have in the other one. But we shall see. So luckily at the Maple Seed, when I pulled that thing out, I got pop, boom, nothing, boom, boom, boom. I luckily had packed up my other lower that I knew worked, and I brought it with me because the Colt Canada lower, I built it, but I had not actually tested it. So I brought a backup just in case. It's a damn good thing I did, or I would have ended up using a 22, which I didn't want to do. I wanted to use my centerfire.
Yeah, it's really cool that you did what you did with the centerfire. Because you're dealing with recoil. And typically, we don't deal with recoil out of Maple Seed.
No, and I kind of, last time I shot it with my 1022 at the charity shoot last year, and I got like 207. And I thought, you know what? I'm much more confident with my AR than I am with the 1022, because the 1022 I shoot it never. I think the second time I'd shot it was the Maple Seed last year, and I hadn't shot it since.
Right.
So I know it can shoot, but I'm just not confident with it, and I don't like the ergonomics on it. And it's 1022, whatever. I mean, it works, but I decided to use the IUR, and that thing shot. It just shot lasers. I was very, very happy with the way that thing shot. So I shot the Maple Seed and Drumheller along with Trevor, and I got 234. So unfortunately, I was 1 point under Trevor, and everything is a contest, so I've lost that contest. But I did manage to clear the final target, which Trevor did not. So
very good.
You beat me by 1 point, and I beat you on the final target by one shot. So I'm going to consider it a wash. So
a wash for you is a win. I see. Okay,
absolutely.
Were my 2 bullet holes touching on the last target at the top?
Does not count. It was a little too far to the left. Sorry, buddy.
It was.
Yeah, it was a really good shoot. Like as Adriel was saying it, that is the most gorgeous range I've ever shot at. It was absolutely beautiful. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a range in the middle of the Badlands. Like it's so funny. People from Saskatchewan are calling them mountains, and the people from Alberta are like, please do not refer to these as mountains. These are not mountains. They're not even foothills.
We are in a valley.
Yeah. Yeah. But it just the scenery reminded me so much of those old spaghetti westerns where like you and your buddies are you think you've gotten away, and you look up and all of a sudden up on the ridge line there's a bunch of natives on horseback, and you realize you're done. And that's what it was like. Every time I looked up there, I was expecting to see something up on the ridge, and we did. We saw a muley doe during setup. A muley doe popped up over the ridge and hung out and watched. She bedded down and watched us set up. Was it ever cool to see her silhouetted against the sky like that?
Yep. Yeah, that was amazing. I've never been on a range that beautiful, and it's a nice range too. Like the facilities are very nice. It's an impressive place. I would gladly shoot there on a regular basis should I live less than 3,200 kilometers away.
Big IDPA club. They shoot IDPA there very often, and apparently though. And I was talking to the Rossinator, Jeff's buddy from Calgary. He shoots IDPA there. You can get there in the morning. It's like 10 degrees. But then next thing you know, by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you're baking down in that little valley area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's no shadows. There's nothing. You're just out in the open, and there's no real grass or trees or anything anywhere around. So,
yeah. There's cactus. It's very desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, cactus. Saw that.
I went through 4.5 liters of water for the Maple Seed in that day.
Very good.
So,
yeah. You know, one thing about the AR, your mag changes are probably fantastic. Like a 1022, the mags are so fiddly to like get in there when you're rushed. But with an AR, it's just like get it in there, and they drop free.
I don't know, man. You say that, but you're all slung up and stuff. Like,
yeah,
I'd be.
I guess you are reloading with your right hand, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. So you drop the mag. So dropping the mag is easy, right? You just use your trigger finger, boom, mag's out. But then I'm sitting there trying to get the freaking mag into the gun, and I'm all slung up, and I'm getting the muzzle starting to go all over the place. It's just bah.
Unsafe. Should have DQ'd you.
No, muzzle stayed
you were
on the backstop.
I'm joking.
Muzzle stayed on the backstop. I was careful.
I know. When you say muzzle all over the place, really, you're talking about like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Degree can't other way.
Yeah, exactly. It was still at my target, but not around my target.
Yeah.
I did accidentally almost point it at the RO next to me when you do the butt on the ground, and then you swing the muzzle up on your shoulder. And
I heard that.
And sling up. So he was like standing right over top of me when I did that. I'm like, oh, hello.
Yeah. Cheats him for standing over your muzzle.
Well, the gun's unloaded, right? Whatever.
That doesn't matter. Don't say that.
I know. Still, so that putting the muzzle up on your shoulder to sling up is a little weird. So I was mostly doing that from the ground because I know it's safe, but it just makes me a little, I don't know.
Not only that, typically you're on your knees, and when it's in the cradle, the pocket there, your shoulder, it's pointed up. But not only is it pointed up, it's pointed up range.
Yeah, exactly. Back over your shoulder. So that's a little weird to me.
Because in a service rifle sport, you wouldn't do that.
No, there would be yelling if muzzles are over backstops. But that being said, again, weapons are cleared. yeah, there's nothing in it. Bolts locked back. It's fine. It's whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, different events have different standards. Like in a maple seed, your safeties have to be on, your chambered flags have to be in, the barrel has to be over the
6 steps to making a
line.
rifle safe.
Yeah. There's a crazy amount of that kind of stuff. In a service rifle match, you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have people barking at you about half of that stuff. In an IPSC match, you don't need to run chamber flags or.
Yes, you do.
Okay, where's your chamber flags in a pistol?
Yeah, you didn't say pistol. PCC's chamber flag muzzle up.
Oh yeah. How's that process go again? You put the bolt forward, then you pull the trigger, then after you pull the trigger, you open it up again, and then you put a safe chamber flag in.
If you're finished, unloaded, show clear. If clear, hammer down. Open action is the equivalent of holster.
With a chamber flag.
Right. So you hammer down to make sure that there's no round in the chamber. And instead of saying holster, the final command is open action. And once the action is open, the shooter inserts the flag and carries it muzzle up. So a firearm, a PCC with
bagged or muzzle up? Do you guys allow muzzle up in IPSC?
Muzzle up with the chamber flag inserted is the equivalent of a holstered firearm. So now you can follow your RO around during scoring. If you bend over to pick up a mag and you muzzle somebody, it's the same idea as if I have a holstered firearm and I bend over and you're behind me. Well, I'm muzzling you, right? It's in the holster, but my muzzle's still pointed at you. So it looks worse with a PCC, and you don't want to be that guy because you will get a warning. No one would ever warn you for bending over with a holstered firearm and having the muzzle. It's like, oh, it's dangerous if it's in your hand and you sweep me when it's unloaded, but if it's in your holster and unloaded and you sweep me, it's not dangerous. We draw lines in the sand, right? Sometimes they're arbitrary.
Yeah.
So,
as
far as the case goes, Adriel, you travel from bay to bay with it cased. And when you arrive in the bay, there's always supposed to be a safety table for the ROs because the ROs are not allowed to RO with their gun on. So you take your PCC to that table, you uncase it. When you're the shooter that's on deck, then you go get it and carry it muzzle up to the shooting area, and you wait till you're told to step to the line, load and make ready.
Variety of how guns are safetied depending on the event.
All right.
Yep. Dave, I took your bit there, and me and Trevor went on a little side detour there. I don't know where we're at. I'm lost. What are we doing?
I was going to say service rifle. We pointer down range, mag out, chamber check, pull the trigger, close your dust cover, sling it or low carry, and that's it. You wander around the range with it. That's fine. We clear them all.
Sling or low carry. Interesting.
Yep, because we've cleared the guns. It's a military style. Like you see guys walking around with the trail carrying the guns, dust cover closed. We cleared them, so it's whatever.
Yeah. See, some events will have the action open so that you can show that it's open all the time, but you guys do an action closed because that's your indication that's safetied.
Exactly, because it's mostly ARs. If you had racked it, your dust cover's open. Right? So if you see somebody with the dust cover open, you bring them over to the side berm, have them open it, and clear the gun again. Because obviously they had the action back for some reason. We used to do, some people do bolt open. The only problem is with an AR, inevitably you're walking around with it and you bonk it and you're chunk behind you.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's interesting all the different ways people do things. Okay, moving on. What else did I do? So I got my rifleman, so that was awesome, and beat Trevor on the final one, which was fun.
Therefore, you won.
I did win because I never shoot, and Trevor shoots all the time. So if I can get a draw with Trevor, I wasn't
even supposed to shoot that part. That final target. I never shoot the final target. When I'm done the MQT grind, I'm done.
You gotta say why you did the last one, Trevor, because it's magical.
One of the IITs comes up to me. I think it was Ryan, wasn't it? I think it was Ryan. Ryan's like the nicest guy in the world. I think he might actually be nicer than Dave, if that's humanly possible. And so I'm walking back, and he's like, "Here's your Mad Minute target." I'm like, "No, thanks, man. I'm done. I never shoot that." He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "No. When I'm done the MQT grind, I'm done." He looks at me like with these puppy dog eyes, like, "Would you shoot it for me?" It's like,
Aw,
oh, what?
mean.
No one cares. They just let me go, right? Would you shoot it for me?
He
Oh,
took it
you
as a personal challenge. They're like, oh, he didn't grab one. And they're like, yeah, he never shoots it. He's like, oh, okay.
Well,
He took it as a personal challenge. to get
Hold
you to
my
shoot it.
beer. Yeah, hold my beer, he said.
well, I'm glad you did because I beat you. So
Oh, you're welcome. Thank Ryan.
I have a video of me beating you in a steel shoot with a handgun in 2013, which I knew I would never, ever be able to do again. And I hold that truly close to my chest, and I watch it at least once a week. So now I have that target hanging on my wall as well to keep me warm at night.
Now,
you ever
tell
go
me,
over to your place? It's like, hey, you guys want to watch something? Here, let me show you. It's like on repeat.
My random home video.
Oh, this disc is all worn out. Sorry, let me get my backup.
now, was that with the same 1911 that I used in the Maple or in the charity shoot?
Yes, it was.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Same 1911 that I beat you with and Jeff with.
Absolutely. Nice
Okay.
shoot.
Just
Yeah,
saying,
it was
thank
the
you.
only one you actually you got all A's with.
It was my last clean one. Yep. It's
Yeah.
funny. I set my score with Adriel's gun. My fastest raw time was with Gavin's Glock 34, and then my final 100% accurate run was with your 1911. I just needed some 1911 love back in my hands.
Absolutely. Can't
So,
go wrong.
yeah.
Okay, moving on. What else have I done with guns? I got a Shadow Hammer from Adriel in the mail, but that's a Shadow 2 hammer, you said. Will that work on my Shadow 1?
I don't know. Try it.
Okay.
Put it in
Try
there. See what happens.
Try and see if
See if it
makes
goes full auto. That'd be cool.
Could
See
I-
if- yeah, nothing changed.
I would suggest telephoning the warranty center and asking them before you do that.
I thought you had a Shadow 2. I thought it was a Shadow 2 that you had.
No, he's Shadow 1 forever.
Mm.
Years he's had that gun.
Mm.
Yeah, it's an SPO 1.
Mm.
Yeah, which I haven't shot in a year because I didn't have a hammer. So, well, I did shoot it once. It was fully semi-automatic. Sorry, semi-fully automatic. So, yeah.
Yep.
So I'll try that. I'll see if that is actually a part I can replace. If not,
Just
then
put it in.
be getting your
See
hammer
what
back.
happens. You dry fire it to find out anyways, right?
What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Full auto. What else? Did Maple Seed. Okay, we're going to talk about the charity shoot later. When I was driving out, so I drove out to the charity shoot. So I got my ass in my car, and I drove out to the Maple Seed, which was 3,200 kilometers one way. So it took me a long time to get there, but totally worth it. And I got out to Winnipeg, where I was working for the day, and I realized, I didn't bring sling swivels to shoot the Maple Seed, and I kind of need those for the Maple Seed. So I went to Cabela's, who have no quick disconnect sling swivels at all. So, hey, thanks, Cabela's. Glad you're a sponsor, but you need to carry more sling swivels. So I found this place called Extreme Gun Shooting Center in Winnipeg, swung by there, met Aaron and Austin, who are big fans of the show. They also hate Trevor. So I knew that they were fans.
Okay, I got to stop. I have to stop you. Luc Godin is watching live on YouTube. He sends me this ridiculous story. He's at the range, and some guy drives by on a dirt bike and yells something at him. And I guess he saw some CCFR swag or something that Luc Godin had going on, and either maybe a sticker on his vehicle or I don't know. But anyway, the guy drives by on a dirt bike and yells something. And Luke waves him down, says, "What did you say?" He looks back at him and says, "Trevor sucks," and takes off. You can't make. You can't.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah,
That's so good.
Yeah.
Well, the Aaron at Extreme Gun Shooting Center, who, by the way, had sling swivels. So thanks very much, boys. Shout out to you. That's awesome. They're probably listening, or Aaron is anyway. Aaron mentioned that he had met Tracy Wilson at an event. I told him about the charity shoot. And he immediately went home and told his girlfriend who he'd met and showed her picture. And she's like, "Who the hell's this?" So he explains the whole thing, and she was completely unimpressed with the fact that he had met Tracy Wilson. So he had to put his tail between his legs and go brag to his friends instead.
Adriel, you're gonna stretch my hat, man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I got a large one right here that'll fit your cranium. You're gonna stretch my hat. That's my good shooting hat. I'm sorry I forgot it.
This is my hat. I don't know what you're talking about.
Pull it down low.
I've had this hat since forever.
You bastard.
Nice.
You thought I wouldn't notice.
I knew you would notice. That's why I got it.
That's why you're trolling me on my own show. I can't believe you did that.
Well done, sir.
Anyway, so
All right.
Aaron's wife was jealous of Tracy, or what was the deal there?
She didn't know who this chick was and stuff. So,
just thought he was meeting random chicks.
I guess so. But she was not impressed, so he had to go brag to his friends instead. Tail between his legs. That was a pretty good story.
That is cool.
Yeah, cool place. If you're in Winnipeg, go check these guys out. They make their own PRS chassis. They have their own little machine shop set up in there. They make muzzle brakes and
we should have them on.
Magnetic mag pouches and stuff. Yeah, we should. They're really really cool guys. I hung out there for about an hour and chatted with them. So very cool. They go do gun rentals. If you want to go in and shoot, you don't have your pal. You can just go in and shoot. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Not rent and leave and go gangbang in Winnipeg's downtown. It's you have to shoot them there and not have a criminal record and stuff. So
weird.
Throwing that in just in case anyone was wondering.
Cool.
Other than that, that's everything I did.
All right.
So now that I've actually looked at the bottom of the show notes, I see that we have host responsibilities here. So I'm liking that.
That should be a tell side. Yeah. So you're moving
everything
to you're into upcoming events.
Yes, I'm into upcoming events. Adriel?
Yeah, so we've got some 3-gun matches coming up here. I haven't done this for about a month. Today is the start of the Prairie Fire Classic Multi-Gun. It's going to be going on for 3 days, today, tomorrow, and Sunday.
Wow.
Long days. Actually, they're probably not that long when they're doing them like 3 days in a row like that. They're probably not going to be 12 hours on the range. Let's see. What else we got? There's the Mighty Peace 3-gun, July 13th, also this weekend. Northwest 3-gun, July 21st. CDTSA is doing a match July 21st. BTSA is doing a match July 21st. Oh, 2 matches in Calgary on the same weekend. Lakeland 3-gun's doing one on July 27th. BC 3-gun championships are August 3rd to 5th. That's the big major match in BC. That'll be at the Lone Butte range. The CCSC Lethbridge 3-gun will be on August 3rd. BTSA August 5th and Chaz August 10th, which I think I'm going to make now. I was supposed to go to my cousin's wedding. They're not listeners, so this is okay. I was supposed to go to their wedding, but they're like, yeah, you can come, but we don't have enough tickets for your kids. And I was like, I can't come. Sorry. Now I get to go to this 3-gun match. Woo! I'm out.
Yeah. I'll get married again. Not a problem.
Yeah. I'll get the next one. But
sorry, did you say your cousins are getting married?
I have so many.
Alberta. Just wondering.
So many. Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah.
You got any?
They're not cousins.
Oh, okay. Well, it took you a few minutes to deny that, so whatever. That's all good. It's 2019. We're not judging.
Yeah, it's okay. Stop being non-family ableist or whatever. I don't even know what that thing is. Incest. Stop being an incest denier. This is going nowhere. Please, someone get me out of this bad joke. Take me out.
You got any upcoming events there, Trevor?
I believe the expression he's looking for is next of kin is best of skin. I think that's what he was trying to say.
Keep it in the family.
No, I don't. Just carry on.
Yeah, nothing. Okay. Ontario Rifle Association has a service rifle match coming up on July 20th, Saturday, and then an ORA precision match coming up on 21st. Shout out to Dave Eisler that's been running those. He listens to the show. Great guy, and it's been going really well. He just took over as the match director for precision. So if you want to have some fun, check out the Ontario Rifle Association website. You can come out as a guest once, and after that, you have to join as a member. But come out and shoot once. Fun. What else we got? News. Well, the big shooting event in Drumheller we have as news from the Drumheller Online, but that would be sort of the main topic. So I think we'll just skip that.
It got covered by a newspaper of some kind. A local newspaper covered a shooting event. That's kind of interesting.
It did, which is awesome. I find that local newspapers often cover stuff like that. Like the local one where I grew up, they cover a few little sort of bigger things that are going on. They'll mention that there was a charity thing or a conservation thing where they were shooting. But yeah, not that often you see that sort of thing.
The lazy good for nothing Karn here at my newspaper, I told him about it. He wanted me to do his job. Oh, take some pictures and send me a write-up. Wait a second. What's your job? Oh, we don't go out to check presentations. Mother effer, this is Campbellton. You ain't got nothing better to do than come out to check presentations.
In other news, a lost dog was reunited with their family this week.
Couldn't believe that asshat.
Yeah.
So now the radio station has been great to us. But yeah, this guy, screw this guy. So
I never thought about a radio station. Having a radio station out at a match would be fantastic. That would be really cool.
Not just that, I've been in the booth at the station, interviewed about upcoming events for my club, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Interesting.
Cool. Well, if it's local guys, I mean, they should be interested in stuff like this. It's a local event. It's fun. People are coming out. I mean, why not?
Raising a pile of money for charity. Yeah.
Exactly. And especially for a charity thing. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, it is good to see some coverage for the event. That is fantastic.
Yep.
What else we got? New gun stuff. Which I haven't clicked on. Sorry, listeners. I
haven't seen these before. So, Trevor, have you seen these? The IWI Masada.
No.
How do you know there's a thing? Is this a Jericho is this a plastic Jericho? It can't be. There's no hammer. It's striker fired. What is this thing?
Hold. Take a breath, dude. Take a breath.
No. What is this? It's a striker fired pistol. I don't know about. I don't think you know about.
I don't know about it. This is new.
You don't know about it.
You know what it looks like? It looks a lot like the CZ polymer striker fired pistol. VZ. Huh. That's interesting. I'd like to see a picture with the slide off, because if it is like the VZ, it's on all plastic. The rails are plastic.
Oh, interesting.
It's Ruger American-esque kind of grip, Glock-esque style trigger. Very square, blocky trigger guard. It's got a rail with pick rail up front. It looks like a 4-inch pistol with a 4.2-inch barrel. Oh, sorry, 4.17 inch. Is that legal for us? Obviously, yeah.
Comes with night sights.
Well, that's good. $600. 10 plus 1, according to the Kanadistan.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the features of. It's a striker-fired polymer pistol. There are no features on this that aren't on every other single striker-fired pistol out there. It's neat.
Trigger
they say it has a low bore or low barrel axis. I don't know if it does or not. Does it? Looks pretty standard to me.
Slide looks pretty compact. I don't know.
Cold hammer forged barrel.
Oh, that's the same as the FN.
Yep.
Called the Masad. Model Masad. Masada.
Mm-hmm. Fully ambi controls. Okay. 3-dot tritium.
Interchangeable trigger mechanism. Can swap your trigger mech out if things go wrong. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's a pistol.
Yeah.
$5.99.
If anybody happens to own one, maybe Benny owns one. I'll have to ask him.
Maybe.
He's got a thing for the IWIs.
He does like his Jewish firearms.
Yep. Go figure.
Kosher.
Well, they make kosher guns, man, for sure. Yep. Their guns are kosher.
Polygonal rifled.
Really?
Hammer forged.
So here you are. Oh, it doesn't have any features that the other ones don't have. Cold hammer.
It doesn't. That's like a Glock's got a polygonal rifling, and so
the ones have cold hammer forged.
Do you find a difference between your polygonal rifling and your non?
Yes, polygonal is a pain in the butt because you can't shoot like
lead.
Yeah, a lot of people do, but you're not supposed to. So, all right, cool. IWI is the last guys to get a polymer striker fired gun. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah.
Welcome to every other company making polymer striker fired pistol.
As soon as we can get holsters, maybe it'll be something we'll be interested in. If somebody happens to pick one up, Benny, let us know what you think of it, Benny.
Think of Benny. While I'm trying to do the show, I'm getting messages from Casper. He set up his tablets tonight for his match tomorrow morning, and God love him. He's working out there almost by himself. he's got to go to the range at like 5 a.m. in the morning to do the targets. And now he password protected the tablet and goofed when he put the password in. He doesn't know what it is. The tablet's locked. But if he synced it to the other ones, if you synced it. So, Chris, I don't know if you're listening. If you synced it after you put the password in, sorry, dude. Then that match is locked in all your tablets. Start over. It's not a big deal to start over.
Yeah, waiver.
As long as you got the squatting done on the website, you just rebuild your stages and download the registration again. Still funny. Cancel the match.
Rebuild your stages. You know, you can put the stages in the web version and then download them to your tablet, right?
Yep. Yeah. Never done it, but yes, I know you can. That's quite cool. All right. We are going way long.
Yeah, all right. Let's move on to our main topic then, the charity shoot recap.
Yeah.
We went to a charity shoot.
We did.
We went to a charity shoot. Yeah. Out in Drumheller, very scenic, very picturesque. It was an awesome day.
Started off. Go ahead.
So, overall, what was your overall feeling from the match?
Well, that's not okay. Well, overall, including the pub night, because we did a pub night first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, if we're talking my overall impressions of the charity event proper that took place at the range on Saturday, extremely pleased. Overall, extremely pleased. And I've come out and I've said it online on social media, the best charity shoot to date, in my opinion, because of the overall quality of the events and the organization of the events. There was just so many things that were done right and bang on that for me, this was the best charity event, not only because it was the most attended, not only because it raised the most money, just everything combined. The range was perfect. The shooting events at the range were perfect for this kind of event. There was something everybody could get into.
Mm-hmm.
You had two different kind of pistol things going on. You had some prohibs there that you could try. That was an added little bonus. There was all kinds of different rifle shooting at different distances. There were some vendors on site. Some sponsors were there. There was food on site. There was lots of water. Just
axe throwing, knife throwing.
Right.
Speeches by the deputy mayor who showed up to thank everybody.
Yeah,
that was
awesome. The mayor showed up. Like, talk about like great local support for an event.
Yeah, that was really good. And Jason Phillip just busted his balls, and despite putting up with Trevor harassing him online for several days beforehand, he pulled off a hell of an event. He had a lot of help, but
all we had to do. All we had to do in the end was what he told us, and everything was fine. That's how that worked. Stop asking questions. Go where I tell you to go, when I tell you to go, do what I tell you to do, when I tell you to do it, and everything will be just fine. And that's what it was. You know, it was awesome. Like, not only did we have the charity event, then he puts together a banquet. And the best way to describe this, or the best analogy I could come up with, would be like, this was like a wedding rehearsal. It really was. You had a head table. You had a schedule of activities, like first the father of the bride speaks, then the mother of the bride speaks, then the father dances with the bride. It was like down to the minute, right to and this was obviously a joke, but the very last hour of the evening was what Trevor did this week in Guts.
A few people were actually asking me, is this actually serious? I'm like, I don't know, man. Once Trevor gets talking, I can say this late.
Yeah, it was kind of the thing that was interesting for me was seeing Jason in his element when he was because he was auctioning, a real auctioneer, really auctioning stuff at this banquet, and it was super interesting seeing him work in the crowd.
that was funny because we're sitting up on stage and we're like, okay, got to do the auction. He's like, hey, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, holy crap, he's an actual auctioneer. I had no idea. This is a thing. I hadn't been to an auction in probably 25 years since I used to go to cattle auctions. So that was fantastic. So well done, Jason.
Yeah, he did a great job. And he suckered me too one time. He's like, it's just $5 more. And then I made the bid. He's like, just kidding. It was 15. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So, Pub night was awesome. The pub was a little out of the way. I wasn't expecting it to be as far as it was, but so the cool thing about Drumheller is, of course, it's known for its dinosaurs. The quality and consistency and caliber of the fossils in Drumheller are just second to none. There's I'm surprised that Tyrrell Dinosaur Museum is not a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Like, there's a fossil museum in my community, or in the community next to mine, that is a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of the quality and the consistency, and is nowhere near as cool as this. This is a world-class facility, and
and you see people from all over the world coming there,
to
Drumheller,
just for that.
Middle of nowhere.
Yep.
Yep.
The most complete Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil in the world was found there. But anyway, the other thing about Drumheller is its history lies in coal mining. And so it's a Western coal town. And the saloon that we went to for the pub night is actually part of a structure that was like at the end of the era. It was built in 1913. It's a hotel, and it's a saloon, and it still looks kind of period correct. Definitely period correct on the outside, and even on the inside, the reception area for the hotel is just amazing. The cash register is like from back in the day and stuff. Yeah. There's actually 3 bullet holes in the wall from a gunfight that happened there in 1971. They got a picture frame around it. It's really cool. So the pub was cool. Adriel really liked the wings. He liked them 4 pounds much. So good on Adriel for eating 4 pounds of wings.
I was talking to Rick. Other people got double ordered as well. Not just me. I think it's a thing they do.
You ordered at one table.
Uh-huh.
They brought them to that table, and then you switched tables and ordered again.
No, I switched tables, and the lady's like, "You had the wings, right?" I'm like, "Yes, 2 pounds." And she's like, "What flavor again?" I'm like, "This flavor." And she went and got them for me, and they came to the other table as well. That's why I ate 4 pounds of wings.
I ate a pound of those for you. I helped you out.
Yes.
Yeah. So
brother out.
Well, I was panicking when we got there because they only had 15 seats reserved for us, and they filled up in like 8 minutes. And then before some people had arrived, other guests were like moving into our section. They didn't care that it said reserved, and I didn't have my gun. And what's I got to do? It was a gun-free zone. It was a 1911 free zone. Actually, there was a sign on the way in: no guns allowed. It was a picture of 1911. So. Anyway, in the end, a lot of people moved out, and all of our people moved in, and we had an awesome little pub night there. You guys, what do you want to talk about from the event? Like your highlights from the event? Anything that really stuck out for you guys?
Should mention quick, the morning of the event, most of us went and did the podcast.
Oh, right.
A few other people went and did the Stop the Bleed course with Gavin from Ragnarok Tactical and Canadian Patriot Podcast. Which
yes, if we're going in order, that's what we did. Yeah.
Yeah, we learned how to properly plug a hole and stuff wounds, and then we learned how to properly apply a tourniquet. And the fact that you apply a tourniquet, the person will not instantly lose the limb, as several of my first aid instructors in the past have told me. Yeah, 2 to 6 hours, which is a little more than instantly. So that was it was really good. It was a good course. Not quite as long as I figured it would be. I figured we'd be there for quite a few hours. It was about an hour and a half.
Yeah, it didn't, which is good, right? Like, I mean, but here's I think everybody. The course was tailored to the people around the table. Like Sean was there and he had a bunch of his own personal kits with him, right? Like, I don't know that anyone at that table didn't already have a first aid or better already. So he didn't have to dumb it down for us. He didn't have to drag it out.
Yeah.
We got into the nitty gritty of this is how you pack the wound, and this is how you apply the tourniquets. Like I've applied tourniquets before, but never that much. It was awesome. I put them on myself. I put them on Adriel. It was a lot of hands-on, which is what I want.
You didn't ask if you could. There was no
I just
consent
grabbed your leg. No consent given. I got
started
right
touching me inappropriately.
Right up around your junk. I was hoping to actually get a testicle in there, but your boxer briefs obviously hold everything in place because I got way up there, like uncomfortable up there.
Yes.
Yeah. Uncomfortable silence. All right then. After
still feel the scars.
After Trevor molested Adriel, still got bruising. I've still got a bit of bruising on my.
I had quite a bruise around my bicep. I mean, he said, when you think you're done, give it one more. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, you put that tourniquet on there, and that thing is on. It's on.
It's on.
Feel
Yeah.
your fingers start tingling within seconds.
Yeah. But I got the greatest like pump picture for Instagram ever. Like my biceps looked huge.
And your face is going red.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was really good. It was really good to learn that sort of, how to stop people from bleeding out properly, sort of thing. And it is amazing Gavin brought some blocks of gelatin, blocks of rubbery stuff that actually have the wound channel in it from a 45 and a 9 mil and a knife wound. And it is amazing how much gauze you can stuff into a 45 round. I stuffed probably a good 6 feet, 7 feet worth of gauze into one of them, and still had a bit of room. So that I had no idea it would take that much gauze to like really pack a wound properly. That was remarkable.
Yeah, when you pull it all out and you see just how long that piece is that was in that hole, it's like crazy.
It's like a party trick.
Yep. Yeah, it really is. Called hide the gauze.
Yeah. So that was really good. Even the slash wound, wasn't that deep, but when you started packing gauze into it, it was like, holy crap. It was impressive. I got to get some more gauze for my kit because I don't have enough gauze in my first aid kit. So that was very good. Any other comments on the Stop the Bleed course?
I need replacement certificates. I got crushed in my laptop bag on the way home.
Mine got all muddy because I got blown onto the floor. So I'm going to get Gavin to email it and I'll print it in color.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Okay, so Stop the Bleed was awesome. You should go take a course with Ragnarok. Charity shoot. We already went on about how awesome Jason was and what an awesome job he did.
I think parts of the charity shoot were really cool. Where it was like just shooting with buddies from all over the country. Like we all kind of congregated in this one spot, and there were a couple of like stages where we were trying to beat each other's times. But you didn't need to do the whole thing. You could just sit on the stage you wanted, or go do some long range, or do some short range, or shoot some flapjacks, or do El Prez all day if you really love El Prez, which I think you love, right, Trevor?
I don't ever need to shoot an El Prez again as long as I live.
So Trevor managed to get himself a really good score of 612. And
then how many times did you shoot it?
I lost track. I
brought a ton of ammo, and it was all gone.
Yeah. So Trevor got his 612, and then he wandered away all pleased with himself. So a bunch of us were hanging around, and I looked at everybody and I said, what we should do is we should write a slightly lower score on the board and then just leave it there and let Trevor know, and then just leave and see what happens. He'll probably be here all day trying to beat that score. So we asked the RO if it was okay, and he said, yeah, whatever, this is hilarious. You guys are evil bastards, but go ahead. So we put so I
had 614.
We put 612.
Yeah.
But we put Rod instead.
Yeah, you made a mistake with the name. Yeah. It needs to be more believable.
Yeah. Well, it was funny anyway, because I texted Trevor and said, hey, somebody beat your score about 5 minutes after you left. And then we're walking down the ramp to go back down to the rifle range. And Filthy's there, and Filthy points. He's like, oh, there's Trevor. And I see Trevor look down at his phone and then frantically start texting. I'm like, gotcha. So Trevor's text back was, what? I'll fix that. And I think you actually did end up spending the rest of the day up there shooting. So,
I sure did. Yep.
Yeah. And I don't think you didn't did you come close to beating it? Most of the times I saw you were over 10 after that.
No, I ended up with a couple of high sixes, but I could never get a clean. I had lots of raw times under 6, but I could never get a clean. So it was an IDPA target, so you had to stay in the down 0. Otherwise, they added time to your score. The way the stage was set up was your time was your score. The amount of time it took you to shoot it was what your score was. So if you kept them all in the A zone or the down zero zone on the target, then your time is your score. But if you wander out of that down 0 into the -1 or the -3, then that is added to your it should be plus. I don't know why it's a minus. IDP is dyslexic. Yeah. So if you're in the 0, that's fine. If you shoot it in 5 seconds, 5 seconds is your score. But if you put a bunch in the 0 and then you put 1 in the -1, well, your time just went from 5 seconds to 6 seconds. So I had some fast raw times, but It's not hit factor scoring. It's down zero scoring or whatever they call it. So yeah.
And the way that one worked was you start with a loaded gun, low ready. You shoot 3 targets, 2 on each target, reload, shoot 3 on each target with a mag change in there. So I thought your 612 was quite, or 614 was quite good.
Yeah. I mean, I know it was, yeah, I mean, it got the job done that day for that crowd, but it is what it is.
Yeah, very good. So they did that one. That I enjoyed that. That's the only thing I shot. I shot that 2 or 3 times, I think, just for fun, and that was fun. I enjoyed that. And then I shot on the rifle range. They had the rifle range set up with targets from 200 back to 300, and people were just sitting there blasting all day. They had steel, they had flapjacks, had all sorts of targets set up. A vendor brought a new type of steel target they're experimenting with, put it out on the range, and it was bright blue, and that thing got the crap shot out of it. So I would be very interested to see.
They wanted to happen.
Yes, they were testing it, so they said shoot the crap out of it. So it was getting shot. Oh, that thing must have taken thousands of rounds. So I would be interested to see what kind of shape that target was at the end of the day, because I was putting 338s into it. People were putting all sorts of stuff into it. So it'd be interesting to see how it stood up.
Nice.
So that was fun. Got to shoot Adril's WC-180. I'd never fired one of those. That was fun. Shot a couple really fancy 22s that are out of my budget range. That was good. Shot Short Round's new Rickster's new 338 that he just built. So that was pretty awesome. That's a nice gun. He built it on the way out there and put it all together, and it worked. So good on him. And shot Baby's weird little, I don't know, those little Glock carbine conversion things.
Ronin, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, but it was fun. Shot that. Shot Ian from Prepper Podcast, Ruger PC9. That's an awesome little gun. I really like that.
Gallon
I forgot.
loves this.
He loaned me that rifle.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Oh,
for review.
Sweet.
Oh, cool. Well, ship it out to me when you're done with it.
I'll
take
it. Him.
No, just ship it. He'll be
ship
fine
it.
with it. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Sorry, Ian.
He's a busy guy.
I gave it to someone else. He's got it now. You'll have to get it from him.
Yeah, that's a slick little gun. I wasn't sure about those, and I'd still prefer it with a pistol grip on it, but that's a very nice little rifle. I really like that.
He handed it over to me, muzzle up, and I was like grabbing for the pistol grip. I'm like, where is this thing? Oh, it's a pistol grip there. Yeah. But yeah, actually firing, it's fun.
Yeah, it's really slick little gun. I really like it. And the price, I mean, whatever, for what it is. And I was surprised by the weight of it. That thing's got some girth to it. Very nice. And no recoil. So very slick.
Not really.
And they're quiet. They make about as much sound as a 22.
Yeah. Yep. Very cool. I may have to look at getting one of those. I really like it.
Check out the FX9 because it's BCC and it's AR ergonomics, which is more your cup of tea.
Yeah, I fired one of those at the GAT show. I found I'd have to get one and handle it, I think, a little more because I found it dug into my hands in some weird spots just the way I was holding it. I didn't have that problem with the Ruger, but yeah, it was a cool little gun too.
Cool.
Yeah.
One of the Yeah, well, one final comment from me about what I liked about the charity event was you weren't tied to any schedule or any particular event. Like in other times, like you shoot this stage, then you shoot this stage, you shoot this stage. Whenever it's whoever organizes it brings their flavor to it, right? If they're a competitive shooter, they build it around competition. We saw that in Ontario, kind of both times. Then we
had Steel Challenge competition.
Yeah, we see it at my shoot. Everything is based around competition. You shoot a Steel Challenge, you shoot around a silhouette, you shoot around trap. We take a score for everything, and we award prizes to the people who actually win those events. Plus, it's a great way to figure out the McClatchy Award, right? So the charity shoot shouldn't intimidate people because they're not interested in competition, right? It should be something that's accessible and approachable for everyone. And this one certainly met that. You could shoot those events as much as you wanted. Now, the ones that there were awards for, like Jason knew how to maximize profits, so to speak. Yes, you can shoot all day. If you want to be part of the contest, you got to pay up. You want this score to be recorded? Where's your ticket? Tickets are $2 a piece. Go buy them, right? So of course I bought, lots and lots and lots and lots of tickets. So you had the know your limits drill. So it was quite challenging. It was very, very challenging bullseye shooting with a pistol. You wanted your time recorded, you coughed up a ticket. Same as the El Pres. But you didn't have to. Like if you just wanted to go shoot it and try your hand at it, you were able to do that. You only got into the competition if you paid for the privilege of getting into the competition, right? There was prohibs there. Cough up some money, shoot a prohib, right? Then the rifle shooting, there was nothing other than just recreational, try each other's guns, hang out on the rifle line, and talk to each other kind of stuff.
No, there was a
competition
on the 2 and 300.
Yeah.
Oh,
which must have been really hard because there were people on the rest of the line firing at their targets as well.
Huh? I didn't know that.
May or may not.
Yeah, I didn't know either, and I was on the left-hand side, and I was hammering those targets. I looked over on the side, I'm like, oh, they're timing those guys. They probably have no idea when those contacts are like us doing this shenanigans over on the left.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but that's it. And then the banquet. Let's talk about the banquet a little bit in the auctions.
Yeah. So we had the banquet after the event. It was at the same community center that the Stop the Bleed course was at, and people came in. Everybody sat down. We had the auction items and the raffle items at the side, so everybody could get a look. There was a bar, so people could buy their beverages as they wanted, which went to the charity as well. And we had the podcasters up at the front on a stage. Everybody got food, and then we had our auction with our
hot mics.
Yeah, which must have been amusing. I did wonder though how many people there actually had listened. We should have actually asked, for a show of hands, how many people had actually listened to the podcasts. I think a lot. Yeah, I think a lot of those people didn't. They were just from the local area, and they're
club guys. Yeah.
What is going on with these people?
Who are these people?
Why do they keep saying it's going to get adult after 7? What does that mean? What's story time with Gallon anyway? Which turned out to be hilarious. It was another way of me trolling Philp, was to ensure that, like I told Gallon right from the get-go, you're not a podcaster, I don't care. You're on that stage. Follow me up to the stage. He's like, for you, anything. Which is what he said to everyone all weekend. For you, anything. So yeah, we promised all night that there would be story time with Gallon, and Philp actually Philped it. He found a way to fix it. So, but yes, so yeah, the crowd was there. Not a clue who we were or why we had a head table to ourselves. Oh, I like this part. So Philp had been saying for a long time that there was going to be a contest to see who could eat the most pig. Well, how is that even a thing when you're not serving your own plate? Like, but he tells us to go up there and get our food. So we got our tickets in our pocket. You got a meal ticket when you walked in, and you got a door prize ticket. And then so we go up, and we're getting ready to start taking our food, right? And Kelly says, Filthy didn't get a ticket. So here's what we're going to do. So Kelly and I come up with this scam where I'm going to take 2 plates, right? I'm going to put one on their paper plates. So I'm going to stack them up, and I'm going to take twice the meat that I should take. And Kelly's going to take twice the vegetables. And then we're going to take our plates, and she'll take a little bit of meat for herself. We'll have some meat for Filthy. We'll have some meat for me. And some of the vegetables that she took will go on Filthy's plate. Filthy will get a plate of food. So but we're up there by ourselves, right? The truth comes out now, Philp. We rigged your system. So, and he's going to be, you bastards, that was for charity. How could you do that? So anyway, the lady comes out and she's like, no, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can't eat yet. And we're like, well, Jason told us to come up here. The podcasters have to eat first. We are the podcasters. Oh, well, go right ahead then. So I start filling my plate with meat, and Jason said she was like panicking when she saw how much meat I was taking, thinking, oh my God, I hope not everybody takes this much meat, right? So we get up to the table. All I have is a plate of meat, nothing, no vegetables, nothing, just a huge plate of meat. I get back to my table, and with this huge plate of meat, knowing that there's a prize for whoever ate the most meat. But then I see everybody else, they're going up, they're giving their ticket, and they're having their plate served to them. It's like, it's not even fair. Nobody else, oh, no one else was ever supposed to get this but me. I see how this is shaping up. So anyway, when we get up to our table,
it was a Trevor trap.
Yeah, it was a Trevor trap. Yeah. So we get back to the head table and we're like, oh, they didn't take our tickets. So, hey, you don't have a ticket. Here's a ticket. You don't have a ticket. Here's a ticket. So we gave our tickets away. So we double dipped on the tickets. So, yeah, and I ate almost all of it. I did give some of it to Kelly, but I ate almost all of it. And I went home with a trophy with a pig on it for the person who ate the most pork.
Which you then broke your pig. How did you fix your pig?
Not yet. It's just the year that broke off. So, it's important that I can look at it and go, oh yeah, it was 2019 when I tried to give myself a heart attack eating pork. So.
You'll be in the cardiac ward in 30 years clutching that trophy, and you'll be like, why? This is what happens.
I sent a picture of it to some of my IPSC buddies. I said I should be ashamed, but I ain't. So I was flying with carry-on, right? So I had to disassemble the trophies to get them into my backpack and into my suitcase, and they made me open up my bags. They wanted to see what the heck those things were. So anyway,
did you explain to them what they were?
They don't care what you have to say. I'm like, it's a trophy. So yeah. So anyway, yeah. So story time with Gallon. You guys want to do that one, or you want me to do that one?
Go ahead.
All right. So scaring the heck out of Phil, because it was a family event and there was all kinds of families there. And there was actually a couple of young kids. We kept saying that, it was going to be story time with Gallon after 7, and Gallon get on the mic and goes, it gets very adult after 7. After 7, this place is going to get very adult. So if you're new to Slamfire Radio, Jason Gallon is a shooting buddy of ours. He's now really involved in Maple Seed, but he just used to show up to random matches and stuff. And he does this every time we have a large event where Jason is present. We do this thing called Storytime with Gallon. See, Gallon is a sexual deviant and a bit, no, I guess that's it, right? There's nothing else really I should call him.
And very open.
Sexually adventurous and not ashamed at all of who he is.
Correct. He really takes pride in his deviance. And so he actually regales us with tales of women that he's met online and all the weird things that they do. And he holds nothing back. So it's extremely X-rated, but it's extremely funny. Listen, he's our own personal stand-up comic. It's sitting around listening to him tell these stories. You might as well be in a comedy club because it's that good. That's the best description I can give. Is like listening to your own personal stand-up comic.
And you best not have a full bladder.
Yeah, only it's all true. So anyway, we were trolling Philp, saying that he was going to do story time with Gallon on the mic for the whole room, and Philp talked him into delaying it for an hour. And then finally, and Benny has something to do with these books. They're children's books. And it's the alphabet, and it's A to Z, and it's all gun related. A is for ammunition and AR-15s. That's how the book goes. Well, didn't Philp get Jason to read that story on the mic? And in the front row was a little girl sitting on her mother's lap, listening to Jason's every word.
Which was the best thing ever.
It was. Storytime with Gallon actually turned into him reading a book. And Jewel used to do that too. We'd have story time with Jewel, which was a very different thing. Jewel was a children's librarian, and she'd sit around and read us a children's book, which turned me into a huge Skippy John Jones fan, but that's a story for another day. Yeah. So
Gallon is for general rating for everyone.
No. So, all right. Well, what else?
So we had 200-ish people on the range, and we had a bunch of people. I don't know how many people were at the dinner, but quite a few. Mm-hmm. And
between 50 and 60 came to the banquet.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Mm-hmm. And Jason reports we raised $10,000 plus for charity. 10,000 so far. There's still a few guns that are going to be going up for auction. So that's amazing. And the lady from the Big Country Anti-Violence Association was there. Money's getting split between them and the local Humane Society. and the lady gave a talk about what they do. A bunch of the ladies on stage. Maybe there was crying and hugging, and maybe I had some dust in my eyes around that time. Maybe. So, the fact that we raised that much money for such a great cause was just, I mean, that was worth the drive. That was amazing. So well done, Jason. That was awesome. It's a great event, as Trevor said. Very, very well done.
Cool.
Yeah. And where are we going to be next year there, Trevor?
Oh, for the 10th, we are back in Restigouche, and we will be, the planning has already started, really. Adriel and Kelly are going to take care of the social media aspect of things, and Kelly's going to work on sponsorship for the prize table. I'm going to take care of the range component, and the events are already all planned. So I don't think we'll see the numbers that we saw in Alberta, but we're still gonna hold our own, and we'll try and beat our last number of 7,000. See if we can bring that up by like $500. And we also have to come up with something to do to Gallon, because Gallon got pepper sprayed with bear spray last time as an extra after hours fundraiser to happen at the party at my place. So we have to come up with a new Gallon punishment.
Yeah, interesting too, because I looked at that bear spray and it said not for use on people, but it actually worked. I figured it wouldn't work on people, but it actually does work very well on people. So y'all should keep that in mind.
Yep, it does work on people.
Yep.
Cool.
Very cool.
There's been way too much YouTube to bother with. Let's just get into our regular
listener feedback.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Mr. Host, you read this part.
Listener feedback is sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, and Cerakote finishing, as well as wood refinishing. Cerakote finishes, as well as wood refinishing, and rust blowing, we found out. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms, accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. You can follow on Facebook at, can't spell it because it's in French, and Instagram, also in French, but I'm sure if you go to his webpage, you can.
The letters are literally there, so you could spell it if you wanted to.
Armory DC Gunsmith.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, ARMURI, I don't know. It's weird in French, so just look him up at dcgunsmith.ca. I'm sure he has links.
Go.
The man is French, after all.
So, first thing we got here is from Sean. Hey guys, just wanted to say I had a blast as always at the Drumheller Maple Seed event. My wife came away determined to make some improvements to her shooting. This makes me happy, so I shouldn't have any issues dragging her along for an event next year. Maybe she'll be dragging you along. Special thank goes to Stacy and Kelly, who spent a lot of time with her getting her rifle fitted and making her comfortable during the challenges. I'll be spending quality time with my wife over the next couple of weeks, getting that 10/22 fitted to her as good as possible. It's her rifle now, LOL. As for me, I was happy to make rifleman with my bolt action, as time management with cycling the bolt proved to be quite challenging. Well done, sir. As you guys know, I've been listening to the podcast for quite some time now, but it was great getting to meet Trevor Podcart for Latte and Adriel and see Kelly and Rick and the rest of the gang again. Lastly, I'd also like to take time to commend you all for taking the Stop the Bleed course put on by Gavin. These are easy to learn skills that are easy to apply in a situation where seconds count and medical help can be minutes or hours away. A tourniquet and a gauze roll or a Lay's bandage is a must for any range bag or ECD, and there's no point in learning the skills if you don't carry the tools. Perhaps CCFR-sponsored Stop the Bleed events could be in our future. Cheers, Sean S.
Very good.
Yeah, well, thanks, Sean. It was good to meet you as well.
It was. Sean's a badass.
He is a total badass.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Trevor, you want to take the next one?
Yeah, Adriel, did we cover this? I didn't know, so I threw it in anyway. Whatever. Read it twice is better than not reading it all. So this is from Brad. Hope the day is going well. Sorry I was late getting in. This week in guns, I took a Ruger Precision rimfire out to 300 yards at AMA. Okay, 285 yards. And was getting hits on Hunt's Head Gong 8x11 with it. good fun. That's cool, man. Oh yeah, AMA
Nice.
goes out that far. Yeah, I've shot 3-gun out there at ranges almost that far. Cool.
Yep.
If you would like to email the show, you can do so by sending it to slamfireradio@gmail.com.
Trevor, you're
Yes.
not the host.
Whatever. I was finishing the email section.
He just kept reading. That's okay.
Mm.
Podcast app reviews, nothing there. Okay. Shoutouts, Trevor.
To my roommates in Drumheller. It was so awesome. Everybody was contributing all the time, keeping the place clean, keeping us fed. We were like, no one had to be asked to do anything. Something needed to be done. People were jumping in. We were doing laundry, dishes, cooking. It was wicked. It was really awesome. The ladies were very impressed with how much the men contributed. So it was not like being at home at all. I did stuff and I helped out. So I enjoyed it. I won't do it here though. Also to Richard Bone, he was with us every step of the way from the pub night and all throughout the day at the charity event, and he got lots of amazing photographs and video. So thank you for being there, Richard, and contributing. And it was always great to see you, and I can't wait to see you again sometime. Also to other Trevor and Stefan for helping me on the range this week. I will sleep like a log tonight, knowing that we are on track to get everything ready to host probably our best SummerSlam ever. A lot of guys doing a lot of stuff, but these guys really helped me this week. Some of the other guys, they couldn't make it because they fought a fire from like 11 o'clock Wednesday night until 2:30 Thursday morning. Well, Friday morning, I guess. I don't know. Like, it was crazy. They got called for their first fire Wednesday at 11 o'clock, and then they had 3 fires throughout that time. A community business that was like a staple in the community has been around my entire life. So 2 homes and a business were unfortunately lost, but there was no other businesses or houses lost because they were able to contain those fires. But man, shout out to Stefan, shout out to Pat, shout out to Alain. They just went above and beyond. These guys got relieved for like an hour in a 24-hour period.
Wow.
Just crazy. It was nonstop. And last I heard, Alain was back on that scene this morning because it had started up again. So just insane.
Wow. Well done, guys.
Yeah. So thank you for your service, boys. Keeping our community safe.
I'm next.
All right, Adriel, you're up.
One to Gavin for putting on the Stop with Weed course. That was excellent. And now I feel more confident in my tourniquet use. Another one to Kelly, Stacy, and Rick for putting on the Maple Seed and helping to train up the IATs out west here and help set up the core. It's a lot of work, a lot of vacation time. And then one to Filthy for keeping me company on my way to Red Deer and getting me this cool mug. It says my name on it. It says Slamfire Radio.
Oh yeah, well,
it's not signed though, is it?
Yeah, Philps is handwritten, man. All artisan style and stuff by me.
Fancy.
Maybe
I don't know if I want it, but that lowers the price of the cup and the value of it.
You never know, man. That signature might be worth nothing someday.
There's a sign on the tavern that says, on this place in 1887, nothing happened. On this site in 1887, nothing happened. I got a picture of it. Pretty cool.
That's good. I like that. All right. Well, my shout-outs would be to you guys for being awesome. It was worth the drive to get to hang out with you guys again. And for Kelly for inviting me to stay at the Airbnb with you guys. That was fantabulous. And Gavin doing the Stop the Bleed course. Jason Phelps for being awesome and putting on a great event for charity. And day after we left the Airbnb, Kelly, Stacy, Ryan, and I went over to the hills, and we went and hiked our way right up the side of the hills basically across from the Airbnb. So we all got muddy and slid down the hills. We went to a mud wrestling match. Basically, it was pretty awesome. Filthy, it was good to see you again, brother. It's been way too long. And hello to Adrian and Paul at work, who I work with, and our new listeners. So they should be listening to the show. So,
cool.
Hey, guys. And that's it.
Excellent.
Patreon supporters, you should have received your patches in the mail. If you've not received yours in a month, please send an email. If you want to support us via Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/slamfireradio. Send us your shekels. We would greatly appreciate it. Help support the show and lets us do cool stuff.
I ran into a listener where, maybe in Lloyd. It's like, yeah, I'm a Patreon, but you didn't send me any patches. So, but like, email the show, and often, and I'll get the patches to you.
And what would be the email address for that?
slamfireradio@gmail.com.
There you go. You can also support the show by visiting our website, clicking on the links for Cabela's. If you buy something, we get a couple shekels back. Appreciate that. Except for Quick Disconnect sling swivels, which they apparently do not carry, but I don't know, maybe they carry them online. I didn't look. Please join one or more of our national firearms associations, such specifically as the CCFR. They do good work. You can check us out on Gun Owners of Canada. We have a forum on there and talk about stuff. You can also like us on Facebook. And I don't know, we anywhere else other than Facebook?
Instagram.
In real life, like us in real life. That's the most important thing.
Aw, I like you, buddy. All right. Well, thanks for listening to the show, and we will be back next week.